another fun-filled trial testimony reading in the case inside the Wrongful case. So, gosh, I'm just going to warn everybody right now, I'm struggling so hard today to speak. I don't know why. I just think it's a combination of congestion and a headache that I've been battling for a couple of days, but I'm having a hard time forming a sentence. So I apologize to everybody. But yeah, we're going to be having some interesting trial testimony reading for Rosetta Grate. Rosetta Grate is going to be direct examination will be by Galen Giger this time. Preliminary, it was Lori McConnell, but Galen Giger is going to do direct examination in the trial, and Alice is going to read that part for us. And then, of course, Susan has agreed to read the part of Rosetta Grate, and Jack, of course, is our strong defense attorney, Scott Adams, who will cross-examine Rosetta Grate. Kay won't be here tonight. She is having a wonderful end of summer vacation, and so she won't be with us. She might pop in at the end. She's just headed out to dinner now with her friends or her family, and she might pop in later for discussion if she gets a chance to. But before I go any further, I just want to remind everybody to please subscribe, like, share, and I really, really am encouraging comments in the comment section at the end of the show. Like I've been saying, I've learned that that commenting continues to help push my videos out there for others outside of our subscribers to see, which is what we really need to happen in this case. So please comment, like, share, subscribe, all those things, and help us out a little bit. We currently stand at 495 subscribers. So getting so close. I'm like 5 away now. So super
495. Woo-hoo.
495. So let's start with, I'm going to have everybody on the panel give a greeting, if you don't mind. Jack, would you have anything you'd like to share with our friends?
Hey. Oh, wait, that's the wrong show.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody that's joined us in the live chat. Hope you're doing well today. And reading Rosetta Grate. Oh, boy. Should be interesting. Another one of these victims, and, well, we'll just see. Not giving anything away.
Not.
Nope.
That's okay. Well, for those who were here last week, you did get an idea of some colorful preliminary hearing testimony. So that's what happens. And thanks, Jack. Appreciate that. Jack's been very busy. So I feel really bad when I asked him to help us out, but sorry, besides open mic and reading with the crew, I kind of have my hooks in him. So I appreciate everything he does to help us out. Excuse me. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jack. And Alice, how are you doing today?
Yeah, doing okay. Another wet and windy day tonight in bonnie Scotland, so nothing new. I've got my 420 and my cup of tea ready because I know I'm going to be annoyed. So, because you've given me the worst
nothing new
ever.
Yeah, this is always really annoying and frustrating and disgusting, really. So nothing new means no grandbaby.
No, the wee bugger is clinging on to the very last bloody second. He should have been here on Sunday. And he's like, nope, I'm staying where I am. So, if he's not here by the 1st, then they're going to take her in and get her induced. So, hopefully, by this time next week, I'll have loads of screaming to do and loads of photos to share.
Yeah, I can't
Oh,
wait.
it's so exciting.
I'm really excited for you. Yeah, it is. It really is exciting. Yes, Liam, I thank you for the correction. We were at 495, and then somehow somebody didn't like what we were doing, so we lost a subscriber. Jack tells me that that's, from his experience, normal. The higher you get, the more ever. So here and there. So what are you gonna do? And so that's all right. I'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. We'll get it up there. We'll get it past the 500 where we need to be so that I can start annoying everybody with community posts. So thank you, Liam. And Susan, what have you got to share?
Oh, hello everyone, and welcome. That's about all I got, Rhonda.
All right. Well, you also are very, very busy reading and helping out with all the different foul play events. So it's all good.
Yeah, I think this is day 4 in a row for lives.
For reading or for lives. Yeah.
For lives.
Yeah. I did. I think I was there for everything on Saturday. I think I was there for most of it on Sunday with Travis. Is that what we did? No, with the en banc. And then I slept through the first hour of yesterday's, and then my headache just kind of started grinding back at me, and so I ended up having to leave. So I'm really sorry. And then I was late posting scheduling today's live because I thought I had already done it. So it gives you an idea of what's been going on. So yeah, plus we had a live on Friday. Yeah, that's right, Cherie. See, I'm just like, woo. Cherie's probably driving home right now or unable to jump on the panel just yet. But we always appreciate her listening in when she can as well. So.
What was our live on Friday? I can't even remember at this point.
Well, it was only Cherie and I because everybody else, it was late notice.
I'd
only given less
right.
than 24 hours. Yeah,
I was at a party.
Yeah. It was that possible execution of somebody who might possibly be innocent. So in Oklahoma. Yeah, I can get B12 shots here under your scars, but I think for me it's just the pollen. It's incredibly abnormally high for the last 4 or 5 weeks. So I think that's what it comes down to for me. Anyway, we're going to get started with our reading of Rosetta Grate's trial testimony. Like I said, Jack's going to read the Scott Adams part. Poor Alice has to try to muddle through Gain and Gigger's direct examination. But even worse, poor Susan's got a lot of really uncomfortable things that she's going to have to, not that she's, prim and proper prude or whatever anyway, but it's really hard to read some of this stuff without just being disgusted or giggling or, commenting some way or another, all of the above. So just warning, there's a trigger and graphic content ahead.
Sis, I have one caveat about that. When Kim Davis is talking, we know nothing bad's going to happen. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Kim Davis,
never...
we're not going to read her part. Yeah.
Yeah,
But we
she
do
would
get
never
Kim
she would never
Davis, I
say
think,
anything
next week.
inappropriate.
Oh,
She would never say anything inappropriate or
she never talks
talk
about
about Daniel's
hoo-haws
junk. Yeah,
yeah.
nothing like that. Nothing. So okay.
Um, well, so she is going to testify. Kim Davis is going to testify in Rosetta Grate's case here in a week or so. Probably, maybe next week. We'll see. I've had a few witnesses that I want to read through though, because they're pretty important to what Rosetta's case was. So, but I have to just say really quick, Cherie says, referring to the case that we covered or talked about on Friday night, you should check it out. It looks like a wrongful conviction to me. Yeah, definitely, do your research on this case. Gosh, I can't remember. I think Anthony, I can't remember what his name was at this point. That's really sad that I've lost his name in my mind, but it's questionable. It's questionable. So, just check it out and, read his case a little bit if you're interested and, make up your own decision for sure. Yeah, junk, Colette. She seems to be obsessed with his junk for some reason. Yeah, his last name is Sanchez.
Yeah.
Was it Anthony? I want to say it was Anthony Sanchez. I have to say, so talking, thanks, Liam. Talking about hoo-haws, which we weren't, but on Saturday when we were doing reading with the crew, now I don't know because I can't get inside Dr. Silkman's mind and read it to know what he might have been trying to say, but he said something. A couple of us kind of think that he meant to say hoopla, but he said hoo-ha. In this little group chat that some of us have on the side, we were all just rolling because those of us who are familiar with, with Kim Davis, we were just having our own little private roll on the floor laughing because it was pretty funny. Hi, DTM fangirl. Great to see you. Anyway, so all junk and hoo-haws aside, temporarily, we're going to go ahead and start reading this trial testimony of Rosetta Grate. Until Cherie gets here, if she's able to make it, I'm just going to read the part of the court. So I am going to start us at line 8, and then that'll be from the court. And then on line 9, Alice will start reading for Mr. Gitter. Are you guys ready?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Call your next witness.
Rosetta Grate.
Ma'am, if you'd step before me, raise your right hand. All right, if you'll have a seat over here in this chair. Once you get started, pull that microphone right around in front of you. And if you would, state your name and spell it for us, please.
Rosetta.
Oh, sorry, Susan.
That's okay. Rosetta Renee Grate. Rosetta RA''NEE. RA''NEE. And then Grate. GRATE.
You may proceed. Hold on a minute. I might have what is going on here? I don't know why that says Miss McConnell. Because
it says Gigger down on line 1.
Yeah, it says Gigger down there. So Rosetta Grate was called as a witness after having been first duly sworn and testified as follows. Direct examination by Mr. Gigger.
Mrs. Grate, you're obviously in the custody of the Oklahoma County Sheriff, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury why you're in custody right now?
relapse.
Okay. Well, explain that. I know what relapse means. You started using drugs?
Yes,
Okay. But why did that result in you being detained in the county sheriff's office?
because I'm a drug program, and then they gave me a 6-day sanction. Just we go in for 6 days.
So you're in a program here in court that a judge is supervising. Ultimately, a judge has control over you right now, correct?
Yes,
And so the jury gets an idea. How long ago was your relapse, Miss Great?
the night before last.
Okay. And how is it that your relapse became known to either your lawyers or the judges here in a judge here in the courthouse? How'd they find out about it?
I told.
You told on yourself?
Uh-huh.
And ma'am, is your lawyer back here?
Yes,
And your probation officer's back here?
yes.
How long is your sanction? How long do you have to stay in jail?
6 days.
Ma'am, in that regard, your diversion program, does Miss McConnell or have any involvement in that? Have we ever been involved in your diversion program?
No, no.
Staying completely separate from this case?
Uh-huh. Yes.
Yeah, right. I want to turn your attention to this case if I can. Do you remember the first time the detectives came and talked to you?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember where you were when they came and talked to you?
Yes.
Where were you?
Oklahoma County Jail.
What were you in the jail for that time?
I was AWOL off my program. I wasn't doing my program.
Same type? Same type of problems?
Uh-huh.
All right. How long have you been in that program, ma'am?
A little over 2 years.
And is the program designed that if people relapse or go AWOL off of it, then you get sanctioned and you get a second chance if the judge thinks that's appropriate?
Yes.
All right. Or third chance, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Pause
Do
for
you
just a
remember?
second, Alice. Pause for 1 second. I just have to say, from personal experience, I realize I live in a different state. Not my personal experience, but from what my family members have gone through drug programs. That's a long time to be in a drug program, in a drug court program. 2 years, after a year and a half here in most of the counties in Utah, if you're not done, if you haven't done your program within about a year and a half, they just send you to jail. Now, I'm not saying that's right, but this seems like a lot of opportunity here, from as far as I'm concerned, from, like I said, personal experience. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Do you remember the detectives who came and talked to you? Were they men or women?
Women.
Okay. Is one of them at this table right here?
Yes.
Okay, you recognize Detective Davis?
Yes.
All right, ma'am. Do you recall what it was that Detective Davis first said to you when she came to the jail? And what I want to know is how did you initially, your initial conversation begin? What did she say and what did you say, if you remember?
Well, she asked me if I had, I don't know how to say it, like the officer that had contact with this particular officer, I believe.
Okay, she asked you if you had contact with an officer.
Uh-huh.
That's what you remember her saying?
I think so.
All right. Well, let's talk about that. Did you tell her about that?
Yes.
Okay, well, would you tell the jury what happened with you, with the officer? First of all, ma'am, do you remember approximately when it was?
Yes.
When was it?
Some about the end of April
Of what year?
last year.
2014?
Yes.
All right. And ma'am, in April of 2014, where were you living?
At 633 Culbertson Drive.
And who were you living with?
Will Carter.
Okay, and can you tell me what your relationship with Will Carter is, please?
He's my boyfriend.
Okay, a boyfriend in a romantic sense?
Yes.
Okay, boyfriend, girlfriend? Okay. Were you still in that type of relationship in April, or had it begun to change?
No, it was in April.
I'm sorry?
It was still the same thing.
It was still the same thing?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me who else was living in that house at that time, if you recall.
Just me and Will
Just you and Will.
at that time.
All right, ma'am. The day that you had contact with the police officer and you told Detective Davis about, do you remember where you were, where that contact occurred?
Yes.
Where were you?
On 14th and Jordan, northeast 14th and Jordan.
All right. Jury's heard a little bit about that location. What caused you to be over at 14th and Jordan?
Crack cocaine.
What were you doing?
I relapsed again.
Okay. Is that a place you can buy it?
Yes.
How'd you get the money to buy it?
Prostituting.
And who would you buy it from?
From inside the house. There inside the ramp. They call it the ramp.
What's the ramp?
It's the ramp where the house that sells the crack at.
Let me ask you a question. I'm going to show you State's Exhibit number 152. Is that the ramp or is that a different house?
That's a different house.
Okay, pause for a second. Sorry, Alice. So exhibit 152, I looked at that and I was going to show it on the screen, but it's a picture of Tabitha Barnes's house. So when Rosetta Grate answers on line 16, that's a different house, and then Giger goes on from there. This, in my opinion, is in an effort to try to prove or say that Rosetta Grate didn't know Tabitha Barnes. But that house, 14th and Jordan, is in the same block, literally, of where Tabitha Barnes lived. So, I don't know where, all it says is 14th and Jordan. So if you put a pin in the intersection of 14th and Jordan, that same block, if you just go north, 14th and Jordan, there's a house there on that corner. and then there's that house's backyard, and then the backyard behind that house is Tabitha Barnes. So, I'm just going to say too, while we're paused here, there is no AVL that shows Daniel's travel or stop there at Rosetta, where Rosetta says he picked her up at 14th and Jordan. AVL isn't there. AVL doesn't start until somewhere. Yeah. The AVL that they produce doesn't start until about getting close to Culbertson. So completely out of that neighborhood, that northeast neighborhood over there. And the picture that they took, it's not hard to find it, but the picture that they used for to show as evidence of the location in so what happened was they took an aerial view, like from, I don't even want to say it was Google Earth, maybe Google Earth, but it certainly wasn't Google Earth Pro as far as I could tell. But I'll see if I can find that, because it's it's not exactly it's just really strange. It's really an odd picture of what they did. And what they did was they just took the little tool where you make your path or whatever. They took a tool and just outlined exactly what Rosetta told them, nothing having to do with the AVL. And so I just think that's interesting. And if I can, I'm just, I don't know if I took a screenshot
manipulative
of that
too,
or not, but
and misleading.
Very manipulative and very misleading.
I'm wondering if the ramp has like a wheelchair ramp on it.
Well, when I read that today, I went to Google Earth Pro and I got on the street, and I couldn't see any house there. And I took it. I mean, obviously, I can't get behind the houses or anything from the street view, but I couldn't see anything that looked like. Oh, you know what? You know where I have this picture at? I've got it handy, actually. I couldn't see a place that looked like it had a ramp. So this is exhibit. Okay, I'm going to show this to you right here. And you guys tell me if you think this is a fair representation of what. It's really hard to see, but this is what they used at trial. I'm going to share. Okay, so Can you see that? That's over here to the very far right. I guess if I go there, it'll be more. Over here is 14th and Jordan. Tabitha Barnes lives right here in this corner. She says 14th and Jordan. And then she says that Daniel drove her down this way and over this way and up this way. AVL doesn't start, if I'm not mistaken, until somewhere in here, maybe even over here. Culbertson is right here where she lived on that corner. Actually, I think the AVL shows here, starts from here, but not any of this. There's no AVL map for any of this. Only this area, which you guys know they love their AVL in this case. So,
anyway. Did Daniel call this in?
He did call it in. Yes, he did call it in that he transported her. I don't remember. Oh man, I'll look for it this week, but I don't remember exactly the location where he said he transported her from. But I know that it was like a mile. I think he drove her a mile. And Susan, you've been to and I'm not asking you to remember this because it's hard even for me, but when you think about where we drove right by the house, right in front of the house where Rosetta Grate lived at the time.
Yeah.
But try to think back to all the way back to where Tabitha Barnes lives. That seems like more than a mile to me. But
Oh
I could
gosh,
be wrong.
I
I'll
can't
have
put
to
that
find
together
that.
in my head.
I know it's hard. It's hard.
It
But
seems like-
anyway, I'll look for that. I'll look for that radio traffic and see if I can find it. But that's just a really weird page to show. Let's see. Jack's wanting us to add something here.
Yep.
So this is, whoa. As much as I know this area, I can't see any street names. Is that Culbertson?
I don't know if you, well, there's a
can see
pin
you
there.
moving.
Yeah, that's where it pulled up 14th and Jordan when I put it into Google Earth Pro.
Okay.
So that would be,
Gotcha.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's
So Tabit.
this house. Here's 13th. So this
Well-
has got to be 14th.
Right where your right where your pin is, that's 14th. Going left or west.
Yep.
Yeah, that's 14th, and she says she was right there at 14th and Jordan is all she says. So if you and all I did was just look down that street, 14th Street, and I just looked at those houses there. I didn't.
Yep.
Down on the street. There was one house that kind of looked like it might have had a ramp, but I wasn't convinced that it was actually a ramp.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I didn't want to
so
zoom in
I
any
don't
further.
know.
I didn't want to zoom in any further than I am. I mean, I can, but I think it's going to go flat, and I'll have to kind of straighten it out here. But I don't really see a ramp, not from this angle anyway.
That's hard
Well,
to
it would
tell.
be if you, yeah, it would be to your going left. Okay, now you're turning the street. Oh, now I'm confused. Oh, now you're going.
Well,
now you're going east. Okay.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
that so we could kind of see around the house to see if we could see anything, but I don't. I don't
Gotcha.
see a ramp. I mean, it doesn't mean it
Yeah,
couldn't
I
have been
didn't
tore off.
either.
I'm sure this is right.
I mean, it
Yep.
doesn't even necessarily mean to say that there's a ramp there. That could
No.
just be a nickname that they've got for that house.
Right.
Well, she's going to say in the testimony, it's as when I let you guys go on, that it is because you have to walk on a ramp to get where they're selling it. So I don't know. But
Oh.
anyway, I did the same thing that you're doing, Jack, and I did the street view. I took my little yellow guy and went down on the street. I couldn't see anything just going west.
Right.
And and that was the only place I looked was in that road, that street, for a ramp. My map was giving me 2021, but it wouldn't let me go onto the street for 2014. So on 2014 on the street, it just takes you right back to 2021. So
Gotcha. Yeah, I
anyway.
didn't even look at the historical. Okay. Just thought I'd
Yeah.
pop that up there. I'll turn it off.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. I
Well,
appreciate that.
Liam in chat says, I'd like to show you State Exhibit 713. Is this the house with the ramp? No, that's the Empire State Building. They don't have wheelchair access.
Leo.
You're so funny. You're
Man.
quick too, man. He is quick. So anyway, the point is that it's just, I don't know. I'll find the radio traffic. I think I've played it for you once before, but I'll find the radio traffic and play it for you. Maybe if I can find it before we end the show, I'll play it for you. But in the meantime, carry on line 11, Susan.
What line? I'm sorry.
Line 11.
Okay. That's Alice.
sorry.
What's the ramp?
It's the ramp where the house that sells the crack at.
Let me ask you a question. I'm going to show you States Exhibit 152. Is that the ramp or is that a different house?
That's a different house.
That's not the ramp, correct?
Correct.
All right. Why do you call the house that you buy the crack at the ramp?
Well, there's a ramp going up to the how you walk up a ramp.
All right. Is it a man that you buy crack from or a woman that you buy crack from?
A man majority of the time. Sometimes it has been a woman. It might be a sister.
A sister. But it's not that house I just showed you.
Nope.
States 152.
Keep
All
going.
right. Do you recall what time of day it was whenever the officer came up to the area?
No, not specifically what time of day.
Okay. Well, do you recall the officer coming up?
Yes.
Do you see the officer in the courtroom that approached you that day?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me where he's sitting and what's he wearing, please?
He's sitting right there
Okay.
with the aqua blue inside.
Aqua blue shirt.
Yeah, on the inside.
Ask the record to reflect identification.
The record will so reflect.
Ma'am, whenever the officer pulled up, tell me about, did he say something to you?
Yes.
Okay. I've lost my place. Do you say, okay, what did he tell you? What do you remember him saying to you and how did you respond?
He's like, what am I doing? And I just remember I was already, knew I wasn't supposed to be in that area. So I went ahead and said that I was getting high and I wasn't supposed to be in this area.
And so he comes up, says, what are you doing around here?
Yes.
Something to that effect. And you said that you're getting high.
Yes, sir.
You telling the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me more. How'd that conversation then go? Tell me about what you were doing, those types of things.
I told him that me and my boyfriend had got into it. I had been, and he told me that I wasn't supposed to be going into the area. And I just left anyways. And then every time,
So your boyfriend told you you're not supposed to be going to that part of town?
yes,
Why did your boyfriend tell you that?
because he tries to help me in my program to try to stay straight.
Does your boyfriend know what goes on over in that area?
Yes,
All right. But you went over anyway
yes,
and you engaged in prostitution that night?
yes,
Okay. Did you tell the officer you were engaging in prostitution that night?
yes.
Tell me what you told him about that.
I told him that every time I try to go home, a date picked me up.
What do you
That's
mean
not
by that?
odd.
Like, I start trying to go home, and then a man will pull over and pick me up in that, so I can do a date with him.
That night, ma'am.
Sell my body to him.
I understand.
That's what date.
Thank you. And I understand that. Thank you. How many, do you recall how many dates you had made some money through prostitution, bought some drugs, and then tried to leave, and somebody else comes up and offers money? And how many times did that happen that day?
Pretty much all day long.
Okay, until this officer comes.
Yep.
Okay. So when the officer comes up, do you tell him basically what you just told me, that you're trying to walk home, but every time I do, I get a date?
Right.
I just got to say, stop here at line 11. It's been a long time since I've actually been on a date, but it wasn't like that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, my dates
That's
either.
that's the way the conversation went.
Yeah, and I told him, that I was in a program and my dude said that I wasn't supposed to be in that area and I knew I need to get home.
So you essentially told him everything you've just told me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What happened after that, ma'am?
Then he started checking my purse, my little black purse on me, and I set it on top of the car and
On top of the police car.
on top of his police car.
Do you remember what the police car looked like?
Yes,
What did it look like?
black with white writing.
With white writing?
Uh-huh.
Do you know what the writing said?
It's police department.
Police.
Yeah.
So you had a purse, you start looking through it, or the officer starts looking through it.
He starts looking through it.
The officer starts looking through it.
Uh-huh.
And then at some point you said something about it being put on the car. Tell me about that.
Yeah, he put it on top of the car, and that's when the crack pipe was found.
Was there a crack pipe in your purse?
Yes.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh, God.
Okay. So he finds a crack pipe. The purse then is placed on the top of the police car. What happens next?
And so I had the crack pipe. He said, I don't know if that was. He asked me to throw the crack pipe down and break it.
He asked you to do that?
I think. Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you do that?
Yeah.
All right. Then what happened?
And then basically he offered the ride to the house.
He offered you a ride to what house?
To my house.
Okay. Tell me about.
I told him every time I try to go home that, I keep getting a date and getting picked up. And so, then he offered the ride. Will I like a ride to the house? And then I say yes, I would because I was tired anyways.
I guess so.
Okay. Okay. So did you get in the police car?
Yes.
Had you had police officers give you rides home before?
Yes.
All right. So you didn't think anything too much of it?
No.
Did you tell him where you lived?
Yes.
Oh my God, man. This is so bad for my dyslexia. If he's taking her home, obviously she's telling him where she lives.
Yeah.
Well, it is Galen Gigger, so.
Yeah. True. That's
Holy
true.
moly.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah. All right. So you didn't think anything too much of it?
No.
Did you tell him where you lived?
Yes.
Was it that same address you told me a minute ago? 633 Culbertson?
Yes.
Before he put you in the police car, did he search you in any way?
Nope.
Were you in the police car? Did you ride?
In the back seat.
In the back seat? Okay. Okay. Do you remember which side of the car?
Yeah, in the left side.
The driver's side.
Uh-huh.
All right. Tell me about the drive home. What, if anything, did you talk about, or how did it go? Tell me.
As we was headed the wrong way at first because he was coming facing south, And so for a few streets, but I thought he knew where Culbertson was. I was like, well, are you still taking me home? He's like, yeah. But at the same time that he was driving, he was kind of in and out. I wasn't paying attention. I was nervous, but he was asking me, what do I do out there? What's my specialty?
So,
Trying to get, and then trying to ask questions about,
hang on. I want to make sure I'm understanding you. So, he started going south on Jordan.
no, no. Yeah, yeah, on Jordan.
On Jordan, okay. And that was concerning. You said you were nervous. Why were you nervous?
Why was I nervous?
Yeah.
Because, that wasn't the right way. And so that's,
Did you say something to him about that at that point?
yes.
Or did you just let him keep going?
No, I said something at that point.
What did you say?
I said, are you still taking me to the house? And he's like, yeah. And I said, well, Culbertson's the other way. And he's like, oh. But then, like I said, he was caught up in asking me about my specialty,
What did that mean?
like my head, oral performance.
Oh my God.
Just use the words he used and the words you used.
Yeah. How do I give what's my specialty? What what do I do the best?
As a prostitute.
Yes.
And what did you say?
Head. I prefer to just give head.
You prefer to just give head?
Yeah, repeat
Uh-huh.
that, Giger.
Did you tell him that?
Yes.
Okay.
And he started asking, yeah, that's what I told him.
And then he started asking what?
Like, what I do. How do I give it?
Did you describe it?
Well, yeah, but I wasn't going in depth because I was so nervous.
Uh-huh.
Tell me what you said.
I was just like, just give it. And he was just like, okay, because I wasn't paying attention to that, what he was, actually doing. I was just so nervous. Only thing I wanted to do was get to the house because I didn't really know, with him not going the right way at the beginning and where I was going. I was trying to just get home. So, to be honest with you, I don't remember the real specific. I just remember that's what he asked me.
Okay. At some point, the direction of travel, did it change so you weren't so nervous anymore about where?
Yeah, because then when I had that up, then he made a right, which is facing westbound. And then, I told him how to get back to my house.
All right. All right. And then he went that direction?
Yes,
And is it during all this that you're having the conversation about your speciality?
yes.
how long does that conversation last? Let me say, does it last all the way until you get home, or does it stop and you start talking about something else?
I don't remember if it lasted all the way to the house, to be honest with you. I just know that's what he kept trying to ask and bring up.
Do you remember it being more than just one question?
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember anything else that was discussed on the ride back to your house?
No, I don't really remember that.
Okay, well, eventually, do you make it back to the house?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. When you get to the house, can you tell us about what happened there, please?
Okay. When we pulled up to the house, he pulls all the way in the driveway. And I noticed that my man wasn't home, because his car he has three cars that he usually parks one in the driveway.
Mr. Carter wasn't home?
Yeah, Will wasn't home.
Will wasn't home.
And Will was angry at me. Anyway, so when he gets angry, sometimes he'll lock the door. So I just didn't know, but I was just glad to be home. So when we got there and he opens up my back door and I get out, I went on to get my purse back. I said, "Where's my purse at?" He's like, "You don't got it?" I was like, "No." And he starts searching in the front. I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Well, I'll go back and get it." And I was just like, "My purse is not going to be there because that's a drug area. Just don't worry about it." I didn't care about it no more. I was just ready to get in the house.
Did you have any money in your purse?
No,
But you didn't think it would still be there?
no, I had my ID and my bus pass the I had my monthly bus pass in there, just my makeup and stuff. It was just a little bag.
But you told the officer, don't go back, and
Yeah, I said I knew it wasn't going to be there. Somebody was going to pick that up.
you think he left it on the top of the car.
Yeah, he had left it on top of the car if he didn't have it.
But you weren't upset about that?
Yeah, I mean, I was upset, but I was like, don't worry about it. I was just wanting to get rid of him and get in the house.
This happened in the driveway?
Yes,
As you're getting out of the police car?
yes.
All right. Ma'am, I asked you if he searched you before he put you in the car. Did he put did he put in handcuffs or anything like that when he put you in the car?
Nope.
All right. So after you had the conversation about the purse, what happens after that?
But then I start walking towards the front door and I notice that he's walking toward the front door with me. And so when he followed me to the door and then the only thing I'm making sure this time it maybe he don't think I live here. And I don't know if Will's got the door unlocked. So when I get there, the door was unlocked. And I was happy and I went in. I was thinking he's going to turn around, thinking I didn't stay there since I was hanging on a corner looking homeless. Will lives in a pretty big house. And so when I walked through the door, he's walking through the door with me. So I'm still thinking maybe he doesn't think I'll stay there. So I start showing him, this is the living room.
And let me be real clear. So you know when you get there that Will's not there because his car's gone?
Yes,
Did you say anything to the officer about that?
yes,
That Will's not there?
uh huh.
What did you tell the officer?
I said, well, he's not here, but
Had you told the officer that you lived with your boyfriend?
Just gonna say there's some noise in the background. Not sure what that is.
Um, did that help?
I don't hear it now. I'm sorry, I lost my place. Is it 20?
Yeah, line 20. Yep.
Yeah, it's still there. It's an odd noise. Okay.
I think
Um,
it's me. I'm just going to close my bedroom door. Sorry. Carry on. I'll just close my
Okay.
door.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so that had happened
Yeah, that's what I was telling him on my relapse that I had got into with.
that had happened from the very beginning.
Uh-huh.
Okay, before the car ride began.
Yes.
Okay, and then when you arrived, you realise Will's not there, and you actually remember saying to the officer before you go in, Will's not here.
Yeah.
When he follows you in, was that concerning to you?
Yes.
Why?
Well, it was weird. But the only thing I could make logic to is he didn't think that I really lived there.
Okay, the ID that you lost over on the 14th and Jordan area, did it have that address of 633 Culbertson on it, or did it have another address, or do you know?
It didn't have Culbertson on it.
It didn't have that on it.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The one I got now does.
You're in the living, you're in the, is it a, Jesus Christ almighty, man. This is really bad for my dyslexia.
Sorry.
Describe the house to me. You said it's a big house a minute ago. Tell me what the house is like.
Yes. You got the living room where you walk in. Then you got the dining room. Then you got the breakfast room. Then you got the kitchen and then got up and the bathroom. And then you go upstairs to the bedrooms.
Two-story house?
Two-story home.
So the bedrooms are upstairs.
Yeah, it's 4 bedrooms upstairs.
All right. So you're in the house and you said something about maybe being in the living room
Yeah.
at this point. Tell me what, pick up from there and tell me what happens.
So I was like, this is the living room and this is the dining room. And but we still walked through the living room part and I was like this is the kitchen.
Why were you giving him a tour saying this is this room?
I was nervous and I didn't know what the situation, I didn't know if he thought, only thing I'm thinking is he don't think I live here.
Was he saying anything to you?
No, he wasn't saying nothing.
He wasn't saying anything.
Uh-huh.
Okay, what happened next?
So then Will, I think that was my second or third time messing up. And so Will kicked me out of the room and made me move in the bedroom next door. So now we're in separate bedrooms.
I want to
Let
make
me
sure
just
that.
say something. Sorry,
Yep.
Alice. I just want to
No,
say
no.
this is not. I don't believe this is correct. She had been in that room for a long time before this ever happened. And Will doesn't seem like he considers them boyfriend and girlfriend during this period of time. So And I think we'll see that in his trial testimony next week. But this, she's making it sound like she and Will were sleeping in the same room together all this time. But they both say that this was kind of an off and on boyfriend girlfriend or sexual relationship thing. But at this time, there's
Like a roommate situation.
more like a roommate situation. Like she relapses and starts doing drugs and prostituting herself, and he cuts her off. And then she stays good for a little while, or she gets good for a little while and starts doing well, and then he's willing to take her back into the bedroom to share the room. This is just what I've gathered from readings that I've done of documents and what I gather in his trial testimony. When she's fucking up and doing drugs and prostituting herself, he's not trying to be her boyfriend during those times. So she's saying that it was after all this happened, if that's what I'm gathering in this testimony, after all this happened, that he kicks her out of his room and puts her in this other room. But she's already been in that room before this encounter. So, sorry. I just wanted to say that because she's making it sound like she and Will were boyfriend and girlfriend, but
Yeah, that's exactly how
I don't believe that's the case. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well,
Go
if they
ahead.
were on and off, I can see how she would say that anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. But when she talked in the preliminary trial last week, when she's talking about in her nightstand in the second or third drawer, they might find this towel, or if it's not in the closet, and we have all the pictures, the evidence pictures of all of that, and you can find those all on holtzclawtrial.com. And I was thinking about making a little video clip of all these rooms. Maybe I'll do that and put it in the Rosetta Grate room in my Discord for everybody to look at if they want to. But in the preliminary, it sounds like she's been in this room. Just from she the black chair. Okay, let's just go with the black chair that she claims. She calls the detectives back and says, hey, you're going to find evidence on this black chair. You're going to find evidence in the closet with a towel with his sperm on it. And you're going to, if it's not there, it's going to be in my nightstand in the second or third drawer. This is all in this bedroom. So
Right.
for her to say that at this point, anyway, it's definitely disingenuous. I just wanted to say that. I apologize. I'm not even sure where you guys.
Where were we? Line 8?
No, we're line 4.
Okay.
I want to make sure I understand. It was your second or third time of messing up, meaning the second or third time to relapse.
Yes, sir.
And so Will had made you move into another bedroom instead of sharing his room?
Yeah, yes.
Is that what you're telling me?
Uh-huh.
All the bedrooms are upstairs, though?
Yes.
Okay.
But there's only 2 with beds.
I understand. So you're downstairs and you told me what you were thinking. So what happens next?
So when we're walking upstairs, and I'm thinking, let me make sure, show him that I stay in my room. So this is Will. And I told him, what Will did. I said, but now I don't live there now. I said, I live over here because he gets angry when.
Miss Gray, did the officer ask to go upstairs?
No.
But you took him upstairs anyway?
Yeah, he's still in the house.
And that's my question.
He's not going nowhere.
Why why then, after showing him the downstairs, did you decide to go upstairs? Because
Well, I'm thinking he still doesn't think that I live there.
Oh my
I'm
God.
nervous. I'm not really thinking of nothing, but I'll just show him that I live here and then,
and you're trying to prove to him that you live here
yes,
by showing him around the house.
yeah,
Okay, so you go upstairs.
yes.
What happens?
Well, then when I explained to him that,
I'm sorry? Miss Gray, you're walking upstairs, right?
uh-huh,
You get to where the bedrooms are.
yes,
Do you remember what happens when you get to that spot? Can you tell me about it?
yes. So I was like, I told him that Will got angry at me, and so this is where I'm at now. And then he's like, have a seat.
So you showed him the other bedroom,
Yes,
and then the officer said, have a seat.
have a seat. And he said and he's unzipping his zipper where his penis is at. He said, this is better than county jail. And so then he takes out the penis and places it in my mouth.
When he said, quote unquote, have a seat, where were you?
On my bed.
Not in Mr. Carter's bedroom, but in the other bedroom?
Yes.
You sat on the bed?
Uh-huh.
Is it in your memory, ma'am, that the first thing the officer said upon entering the house was to have a seat when you got upstairs and then, quote, this is better than the county, unquote? That's the only conversation you had with him?
Yes.
And, ma'am, it may be obvious, but because she's writing it down, I want to make sure. What he did, whenever he did that and says, quote, this is better than the county, what did you take it that you needed to do or were supposed to do?
Perform oral sex on him.
And because of the words he said, what did you think would happen if you refused?
I didn't even really give that a question because of the situation. It was,
Did you do it?
yes,
His penis go in your mouth?
yes,
You said he unzipped his pants, ma'am. The officer that, when he had come into contact with you, was he in an officer's uniform?
yes,
Did he have a gun belt on
yes.
and all that stuff?
He had his gun on him.
So when he unzipped his pants, did he take that gun belt off
No,
and do something with it? It stayed on?
it stayed on. The gun stayed on because I was looking at the gun the whole time, asking him to, could you move the gun to at least protect the.
So, and I don't mean to have been graphic, it's obvious, but I want to make sure that the record's clear. His penis is exposed, it goes in your mouth, it's sticking out of his fly,
Uh-huh.
and his gun and his gun belt is still on right here.
Uh-huh.
So is his gun close to your face? You got to answer out loud.
Yes, sir.
So I think you indicated you said something to him about that. Did you say something to him about that?
Yes.
And what did you say?
I had, can you move your gun?
Oh my God.
I'll get the elevator.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't plan on that.
Jesus.
I was just so in character there.
Talked about getting in character for the part. Just glad cameras are off. All I got to say.
Oh my God. Oh,
If you
Jesus.
think that's not going to end up on a, if you don't think that's not going to end up in a highlight reel, you're wrong.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
Shit, my stomach.
I didn't have scars and chatters. What was that?
Oh.
Oh, shit.
Jeez.
Well, you know, aside from that, you know, Giger's pretty much testifying for her again
Gosh.
for yet another witness.
So under your scars, missed it. She doesn't know what we're all dying
Oh,
laughing
shoot.
about. Susan, do you want to do a replay of it?
That's the one time.
Hey,
I
pay
said,
attention under your scars.
could you move your gun? He just kept going. He never really said nothing. He just kept going, moving his body.
But she did that. She said that with something in her mouth, though, under your scars.
Oh, get yourself together, Alice. Oh. I got it so
Oh, shit.
I'm sorry about the
Oh.
Oh, I'm going to start snorting in a minute. I better stop.
I can't even imagine what the jury.
Well, Kim Davis, you know, Kim Davis leaned forward several feet.
She's like, yes. Yeah. Oh my God.
Leon, you're killing me. Oh my word.
Okay, Alice is done.
Oh, hot flash in every hand. Jeez, oh.
Oh man.
Well, it does say no audible response.
She had her mouth full. Oh, man.
Oh, dear me. Oh, right, okay. Let's see. He was moving his body.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, moving so he could moving his body so his penis could.
His penis was moving in your mouth.
Yes,
How long did that last, ma'am?
about 5-10 minutes.
Do you know if he ejaculated?
No, he didn't ejaculate.
He did not.
No,
Why did that stop?
because
The oral?
he told me when he pulled it out, he wants me to lay back on my back now.
On the bed?
Uh huh.
Did you?
Yes.
What happened then?
Then he just gets right on top of me, sticks his penis right in my vagina.
What were you wearing?
I really don't remember. I don't remember.
Well, obviously your vagina.
It was yeah, open, available.
No vacancy.
I told you guys this was colorful testimony. I warned you guys
It's
last
rough.
week.
You
Oh,
did.
jeez. Oh, that's what I'm asking. How did your privates get exposed?
Well, it had to be a little dress on then. I had to have a dress on then because I didn't pull nothing down.
You think you had a dress on?
I think so.
Were you wearing underwear?
No, not in that profession. I normally don't keep underwear.
Does it get in the way of your profession?
Yes, or I lose it or it disappears.
Penis goes in your vagina?
Yes.
About how long does that last?
Oh, about another 5 or 10 minutes.
Do you remember if he ejaculated?
No, he started looking back because in that room facing the driveway and stuff, I don't really know what he thought about, but you could see that he was serious. And, he jumped up, zipped his pants up, and left.
So something happened that made him stop?
Uh huh.
You're not sure what it was? Was there a sound? You said he looked back. Did you?
Yeah, he kind of looking out the window, and then he just, because maybe he just thought, or maybe he heard something, because I don't know what he might have thought because he knew Will wasn't there. Maybe he thought he heard something and thought about the situation. I don't know really what he's thinking, but that's what he did.
So after that encounter, he stops. And does he say anything to you or does he just leave?
He just leaves.
He just leaves?
Uh huh.
What did you do?
And then I grabbed a rag and wiped and just threw the rag in my closet.
And again, I'm not trying to be graphic, Miss Great, but you wiped your vaginal area?
Yeah, and I don't remember. I mean, being in the profession, you usually know when a man comes and stuff. I don't really think that he did, but there was still pre cum, because I still wet.
So you wiped it off?
The slimy stuff. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. All right. During that encounter, ma'am, was there anything else that in that room that you thought might, looking back on it, might have had some evidence on it?
Yeah, the chair. I remember the chair to the dresser. I'm thinking that he was holding his hand there, and I remember when he finished, I remember kind of wiping it, off.
When you finished the oral sex
Yeah.
and you did a motion a minute ago that the court reporter can't write down. You kind of put your hand up to your mouth.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Tell me what you did.
Yeah. When you're giving a man oral sex and then the spit from your mouth or whatever the situation, it might be coming out, and I just kind of wiped it from right there. I remember wiping it on the chair. Ugh.
What did that chair look like?
It was what color or what does it look? Just a chair, a regular chair.
Just however you describe it. Do you know what color it is?
No, I don't remember what color it is. Not right now at this moment. I can't.
All right. The officer leaves. At some point, did Mr. Carter come home?
Yes, not too much longer after that.
Did you tell him what happened?
Yeah.
What was his response?
If I hadn't been out there, none of that wouldn't happen.
That doesn't sound very sympathetic. He wasn't very sympathetic.
Will's sympathetic, but he's very to the point, like,
He was upset with you because of what you were doing.
yeah, he already had told me not to go, and I mean, it don't justify it, but yeah, if I hadn't went, it wouldn't never happened.
Did you call the police, Miss Grate? You got to answer out loud.
No,
How come?
because I knew I didn't have no business over there in that area. I don't really know. I just because I'm in a program, what am I gonna tell them? That's what I feel like. What am I gonna say that would make any type of sense? But I really never gave much. Just kind of just get rid of that memory. That's how I deal with things.
Get rid of the memory is how you deal with things.
Yeah, like, from rapes and stuff, I just try to start erasing it.
You may be anticipating my next question. Have you been able to get rid of it? Why not?
Because I'm here dealing with this deal now. I mean, I just, because it's another add on chapter to things that have happened in my life. And it's not going nowhere. And especially this one, because it just keeps coming back. I can't get rid of it.
Miss Gray, I want to show you a couple of pictures. May I approach?
You may.
Rhonda.
I'm lost. You may approach.
First of all, I want to show you states 238. This is just off Google Maps, but can you recognize that area and can you show me? Do you recognize where Mr. Carter's house is on that? Is that yes or no? If you can't, it's okay. I don't know if you can recognize it or not.
It looks like it's probably this.
Is that an apartment complex that's across the street?
Yes.
Okay. Does that help you get bearings?
Oh, okay.
Realize that's an apartment complex right there.
No, this house right here because he's in sober living and he really helps out.
So this is Mr. Carter's house right here.
Yes.
That's what you were pointing at?
Uh-huh.
I'd offer states 238.
No objection, Your Honor.
Sorry, I'm having some issues here. Let me get to where we're supposed to be. All right, State's Exhibit number 238 will be admitted, and that's the exhibit. That's the map that I showed you guys that they used in trial.
Right.
Oh.
Okay. And ma'am, I'm going to show you another map then that is a larger overhead area, and then that it's a little hard to see, but states 208. You see that's the apartment complex?
Uh-huh.
Okay. You see how it's It's bigger there, but it's smaller, but you can see it.
Okay.
I want you to look at the red line. My God, this is bloody terrible. And if I tell you that that's the area of 14th and Jordan, does the red line show consistence with your memory of the direction that Officer Holtzclaw drove you that night?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Offer 208, Your Honour.
No objection, Your Honor.
Thanks, Jack.
The court, all right. The state's exhibit number 208 will be admitted.
Ma'am, so the jury can understand what you and I just talked about. This is 238. You see that? And then the apartment complex that I was talking about to you about, is that the building right there?
Yes.
And then Mr. Carter lives across. There's a median. But then Mr. Carter lives in this first house. Is that right?
Yes.
So
And is
guys,
that the house?
sorry, Alex. This
No, you
map
go.
that you're looking at is this is what they're using at trial as the exhibit of 238. I said that wrong
Good
a
Lord.
bit ago, but
Good,
yeah.
good grief.
This is what they used as exhibit 238. Can any
Wow.
of you see that? That's just ridiculous. And then when you make it larger on a what's it called?
Overhead.
A projector screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just nothing. It's just ridiculous, man.
Yeah, it looks like that photo's taken from a couple thousand feet, at least.
Yeah.
At least
That's
1,000
just
feet.
insane to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what they used. Sorry. Thank you, Jack, for filling in.
No problem.
Where was line 12?
Yeah, line 12. I'm sorry.
And is that the house where the events that you just told me about took place in?
Yes.
And then showing the route that you just said you travelled with the police officer 208, it starts in this location at 14th and Jordan.
Yes.
Okay, and then you see how the red line goes?
Yes. Which that would be southbound. Yes.
All the way over to the Culbertson address. Do you see that?
Yes.
That's consistent with your memory?
Yes.
Ma'am, there's a couple other pictures that I want to show you as well. But before I do, I want to ask you more questions about it, all right?
Okay.
Whenever you met with Detective Davis, you were in the county jail, and you did you essentially tell her what you just told us today?
Yes.
All right. And ma'am, did you talk to her about the towel and the chair whenever you talked to her at the county jail?
Yes.
Okay. At that point, whenever she made contact with you in the county jail, were you still living in the house with Mr. Carter, or had you left that house?
Yes. I mean, it's always open, but at that point it was a lot of nagging. So I kind of went full-fledged into my relapse, and I just hadn't been back in a while.
After some days had passed, at some point you'd gone right back into using drugs and prostitution, very heavy?
Yeah, because I was just constantly going there saying it,
Because what?
constantly saying, if I hadn't been out there because, I was,
Mr. Carter was saying that.
These,
And so you left?
these no audible responses, complete bullshit. Sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Right. and just being left
Yeah.
and being allowed to, yeah, it's, and might I just add, and you guys may or may not disagree with me, that's fine, but this is all very leading, and you're
Yes.
not allowed to me it is, you're not allowed to lead on direct examination. You can during cross, but not during direct. So I'm so
And the
frustrated that
defense
there's so much
should be
leading.
the defense should be objecting, saying, you know, she needs to answer the question.
Yes. Yep. Please. Yes. Non-responsive, judge. Yeah. This is very frustrating. And you guys that have listened to Giger's, well, Lori McConnell too. Both of them lead every witness through direct examination for the most part, and it gets left unsaid. It gets allowed to be done. Anyway.
Yeah. All she's saying
Thank
is
you.
yes, 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 no, yes, yes, no. Yeah.
Or nothing.
Or nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the repeatable. He's like a parrot. She says one thing and then he repeats it right after her. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
well, that's what she just bloody said.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, line 5. Yeah, arguing. We was arguing.
All right. So had it been, and I want to be clear, had it been a period of weeks, then since you had been in that house before Detective Davis came and talked to you in the county jail, in other words, you hadn't been living there for a while, right? Well, obviously, no, if she's in the pocket.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Do you remember meeting with me sometime in October and me showing you some pictures for the first time?
Yes.
Okay. And when I showed you the pictures, did you tell me that some things had changed in that bedroom whenever these pictures were taken?
Yeah.
Judge,
Right.
object to the
Yeah.
form of the question.
All right. Sustained.
When I showed you the pictures, did you notice things different than they were that night?
Yes.
The assault had occurred.
Yes.
What were the types of things that you noticed that were different in the pictures?
That the table was not anymore in the room. The table.
Okay.
And that's what I noticed.
Do you know whether or not anyone else had been in that room during the time period?
At that time, no. I didn't know.
Time out, Alice.
Yeah.
So when I read through this today, I realized that what Giger is doing here, he's trying to say that all the pictures, and I decided I will put those into a little slideshow and put them in Discord in the Rosetta Grate room, because you're going to see all the pictures that were taken during the time that the detectives went and did the search on the so-called evidence that was in the room. What Giger is trying to do here is he's trying to say that by the time they went and raided, or whatever you want to call it, that house to go collect evidence, he's trying to say that that somebody else had lived there and that things had all been moved around. Don't forget that she describes during the preliminary trial in very great detail where different items were in that room, i.e. that black chair. And when you look at the pictures, you'll see that black chair is exactly where she said it was. So I just remember that as they're spewing out this garbage right now. I'm so sorry. Go ahead, Alice.
You're fine. Do you know whether or not anyone else had been in that room during that time period?
What line was that?
You're on line 10.
Line 10, Susan.
Okay. At the time, no, I didn't know.
When I showed you the pictures in October, did you know that?
No, I didn't know at that time.
Did you talk to me about someone else being in that room and staying in that room for a while?
At the time?
Whenever we were looking at the pictures, did you tell me someone else had been staying in the room?
No, not when I first talked to you about it.
And I apologize. We've talked. You testified at the preliminary hearing too, and we talked before that, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay, let me ask it a different way. At some point, did you become aware that
Yes.
oh, I just lost my place.
Line 1.
Page 39 or 2556.
Yeah.
Someone had been in the room before the pictures were taken.
Yes.
Object to the form of the question, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Okay, tell us about what you know about that.
Well, I know that Yolanda, this lady named Yolanda, come and stay there to try to help her out.
Willie's tried to help her out too.
Uh-huh.
Is she living a similar lifestyle as you?
Yes. Well, yeah. She don't stay out there and prostitute. She still has a drug addiction.
All right. In any event, someone else had been in there.
Uh-huh.
All right. Approach, Your Honor.
You may approach.
Ma'am, I'm going to show you, maybe not all of these, but certainly some of these. I'm going to show you 209, 210, 211, and 212. Let's just look at those for now. Are these photographs that you recognize what's in those photographs?
Yeah.
I need you to move up, Rhonda, please. I'm reading it off the screen now. So, is that the
Slide
house?
2.
Yes.
Yep. At Culbertson. Is that basically the way it looked from the outside?
Yeah.
Still kind of looks that way?
Yes.
Offer 209, 210, 211, and 212.
No objection.
All right, State's Exhibit number 209, 210, 211, 212 will be admitted.
So the jury can see what we're talking about. That's the outside of the house, correct?
Correct.
Ma'am, whenever the police officers parked and you guys went in the house, do you recall if he parked in the driveway or if he parked in the...
Yeah, he parked in the driveway.
He parked in the drive? All right. 210 is just another photograph from the outside of the house.
Okay.
211, is that the entryway?
Yes.
And 212 shows, what is that?
It's the front door, or it's one of the doors again.
213, do you recognize what that is?
Yeah, it's the living room.
Okay. Looking into the house?
Uh-huh.
All right. I'll offer 213.
No objection.
All right, State's Exhibit 213 will be admitted.
That's just looking inside the house, correct?
Correct.
All right, ma'am, the next group, I'm going to identify them for the record. So 214, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 220, all the way to 235. So 214 to 235. You saw as I was flipping through there, are all though are say it again, are all those all photographs of the bedroom?
Yes. Good Lord.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Is the bedroom, as far as the furniture goes, set up the same way it was that night, and with the exception, I think you said there was a table?
Yes.
Was it in the room that night?
Which I would object to. This witness testifying to what she's viewing. They have not been admitted.
All right, identify.
I'm sorry, Judge. Trying to lay a foundation.
Go ahead and lay a foundation if you can.
Are there some things that are different than they were that night?
Yeah.
Okay. The table being one of them?
Right.
Okay. But other than that, and are there some items in the room that are different than that night?
Yes.
I'd offer them at this point, Your Honour.
You skipped
Line
line
18,
18.
Alice.
Line 18.
Other than that, do they show the way the room at least is laid out and set up?
Yes.
I'd offer them in at this point, Your Honour.
Judge, I just object on foundational requirement. I don't think this is the appropriate way to admit the exhibits, and I object.
All right, come up.
Your Honour, I agree that she's going to say that things are a little different, but I think in order to lay the foundation to have them admit later, I need her to identify that. And I don't know that I'll have an opportunity to if I don't do it now. That's why I was going to go through them and say what's different in the pictures so that I can lay the foundation, because otherwise I'd have to put it on the CSI who took the photographs and then call Miss Grate back after they're admitted and say, okay, was this picture the same as the other? So I won't show the pictures if council doesn't want me to at all this point, but I need to go ahead and put in the record that she's saying is different.
Well,
Or I can call her back after I get them in.
well, you can identify for the record
Uh-huh.
the exhibit number, and she can say what's different from when she was in there, as long as she's identified it as the house, the room,
Exactly.
or whatever it is.
Okay.
But they won't be able to be admitted
I agree.
until somebody says that's the. Jesus fucking Gidder, quit cutting him off.
If there's an objection, I agree. Miss Grate,
Line 13.
when I look at the photographs, that's number 214. Is that essentially the way that was the same night?
Yes.
Is the bedding the same?
Yes.
All right, so 214 is an accurate way, the way that it was set up and looked that night.
Yes.
All right. What about 215? Do you see anything that's different in 215 than it was that night?
Nope.
Okay. Is 216 showing things that are different than that night?
The closet.
So the closet's different and 216.
Yes.
Don't tell me what it shows on here, but tell me what was in the closet that the night that this happened. Don't tell me what this picture shows. Tell me what was in the closet the night that it happened.
All that
Oh,
stuff wasn't in
gosh.
there.
Oh, this
Okay.
is so.
There's
I'm really sorry. This is really infuriating me.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is just. I mean, there is nothing. This has never been said before. This wasn't even said during the preliminary that all this stuff wasn't in there and this and that and the other. I don't know how this can be
Admitted.
admitted. Yeah, this just doesn't seem right to me. I don't know,
Hopefully,
Jack.
Adams will.
None of what they're
Hopefully, Adams
none of-
will address it. I mean, go ahead.
well, maybe I don't know. I haven't seen. I'm trying to do this stuff as cold as I can, just like
Sure.
we're all here together. So we'll see.
Right.
Hopefully. I'm really sorry. Line 10.
Okay. There's
Lord.
stuff in there that wasn't in there.
Yes.
Okay. Is that where you threw the towel?
Yes.
All right. Okay. 217 shows the closet also, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. 218, can you see if anything's different in that photograph?
There's.
Is that
Yeah. Everything's still the same.
all right? Is 219 the same, or is there some things there that are different?
Yeah. There's some ladies.
Some things on the dresser that are different.
Quit
Oh
testifying
my
for
God!
her,
Objection,
Giger.
Your Honor. Leading. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So sorry.
Because that's my daughter's.
Okay. 220. Is that essentially the same, or is it different?
It's different. The table's gone over here.
Okay. There was a table that's not there now. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Fucking
Little dresser, sturdy desk.
This one shows the closet, 221, correct?
Yeah. And table's gone.
222.
Yeah.
It's got stuff on the dresser.
Yeah.
223 shows the closet.
Yes.
224.
That's the same.
That's just showing the upper part of the closet, and that stuff is the same?
Yes.
All right. 225. Is that the same?
Yes.
226.
Yes.
227.
Yes.
228's different. It's the closet.
Let her testify, Giger.
What
Jesus
the
Christ.
hell?
This is horrible. I'm dying right now. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
That's not a leading question. I don't know what is. 228 is different, innit, missies? Do you know what I'm getting at? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wink, wink,
winking.
nudge, nudge. You know?
Oh,
Jesus.
That's why we couldn't find that towel.
Yeah, exactly.
For real. Oh, God. Oh, God. Line 3.
As for 229,
Yeah.
as for 230,
Right.
231, is the table gone in that one?
Yep. Table's gone in that one.
What about 232? Is that the same?
Yeah.
That's the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Only the bed and chair. Yeah, the table's gone.
Okay, was the table close to the chair?
Yeah.
Is 234 showing the chair?
Yes.
Is that the chair that you talked about a moment ago?
Yes.
Is 234 accurate the way it was that night, or is it different?
No, the chair was
Oh
turned
my
around
God.
into the table.
So it was facing.
That is just a blatant lie. Sorry.
So it was facing a different way.
Yeah.
As for
Mm-mm.
235,
Right.
is that the chair?
Yes.
Was it right up there, or was it moved?
No, it was just turned around because the chair is still kind of by the bed, but it's turned around like when you sit into it.
The chair was by the bed, but it's in a different spot.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Your Honour, I believe she's identified the following exhibits as being consistent with that night. And that would be, I'd offer 214 through to 227.
No
No.
objection, Your Honor.
All right. Oh,
Shame on
that's
you,
you,
Scott
Rhonda.
Adams. That should be a huge fucking objection.
Yep.
In-
Anyway,
indeed.
The court says, all right, state's exhibit number
She didn't
214
offer
through
all of
227
them.
will be admitted. Huh?
Well,
He didn't.
He
He
didn't
didn't
Oh,
offer.
no,
offer all of
didn't.
them.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, that's right.
Just the ones she said.
Go back to line 13, Alice, and start with Anne.
And that would be, I'd offer 214 through to 227.
No objection, Your
No,
Honor.
214, 215, 218. It wasn't 214 through 227.
Oh, it was. Oh, that's
Sorry.
right. It wasn't consistent. It skips. Yeah.
All right. So it does.
Yeah.
So it does. I just looked at it the wrong way, thinking that they were all the same. Right. Okay.
I-
Okay. And that would be, I'd offer 214, 215, 218, 224, 225, 226, and 227.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, states exhibit number 214, 215, 218, 224, 225, 226, and 227 will be admitted.
Thank you, Judge. Miss Gray, 214 shows. You tell me what I'm looking at here.
My bedroom.
Is that the room where the oral sodomy and the rape occurred?
Yes.
215, is that a picture of the bed?
Uh-huh.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
218, another picture of the room.
Yes.
What's 224?
A picture of the closet.
You saw some other pictures where the bottom of the closet is visible, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Tell the jury the way you remember the bottom of the closet the night that the assault happened. What was in the bottom of the...
There wasn't nothing in the bottom of the closet.
So when you threw the towel there, it was down there by itself?
Uh-huh.
Is that your memory?
Yes.
225 is another picture of the closet, the upper part. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And then there's some place to store things. That's one of those places. And then there's another, correct?
Yes.
All right. Ma'am, after you talked with Mr. Carter, you told me that your relationship started to be one that you were arguing a lot and you finally left, at least for a time period. Is that right?
Right.
After the night that the officer came over in the late April and had this occur in the house, did you see that officer again, ever?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell me about that, please?
Well, it was shortly after that incident. I was walking down the street from getting some crack with another guy that smokes crack, and he was walking back to his house.
There was a man with you?
Yes.
Okay.
And we were walking back to his house, and a police car goes by and stops at the stop sign at 16th and Highland. And and as I'm looking, I'm thinking that were him. He's screaming, "Hey, hey," like we're old time friends or something. He's trying to holler it, speak to me. And I just kind of put my head down because I was real nervous. Like I really didn't see the cop car and tried to ignore it. And I seen it looked like he put it in reverse because the lights changed.
Oh my
But I
God.
walked back. I was on the guy's name was East Side that I went and got some crack with. Walked back to his back house, the back driveway house, or the house's back driveway where we go smoke at.
So that was the extent of your contact that other time?
Yeah.
Just the officer drove by and said something like, hey, hey?
Yeah, he was trying to get my attention. I just couldn't believe it.
Do you know what the East Side's name is?
Real name?
Yeah.
No.
Did you tell East Side about what that officer had done to you?
Yeah. After that, I told him.
After you saw him that night?
Yeah, yeah. Prior to that, I had said something. That's why I was tripping. But at that time, his name was getting around on the street.
At that time, did you call the police and report it? Why not?
I was fixing to get high and wanted to get high, and that's pretty much that. Just get rid of it. Try to get rid of all the feelings and everything.
Did you get high with Eastside that night? Ma'am, other than telling Eastside and Mr. Carter about what had happened with the police officer, do you remember if you ever told anyone else about it?
My daddy. I told my daddy,
And what's your dad's name?
Johnny Great.
Do you remember in relation to the time of this? And let me try and give you a point of reference. Did you tell your dad before Detective Davis talked to you or after Detective Davis talked to you at the jail for the very first time?
Did I tell my daddy before?
Before you told Detective Davis, had you told your dad?
Yeah, before.
It was before?
Uh-huh.
And did you tell him everything that happened, or what exactly had you told your dad?
I just pretty much no, I didn't tell him detail for detail. I don't I Me and Daddy talk, but we don't talk where we just get detailed conversation. No, I was just yelling that, you know, I'd been raped by an officer.
What's your dad do for a living?
He's a carpenter.
Whenever you told your dad about it, did he encourage you in any way to make a report, or did he make a report, or anything like that?
No,
Did you talk about making a report with your dad?
no.
Did it upset him?
Your Honor, object is irrelevance.
Sustained.
Did it upset you to tell your dad about it?
Judge, again, object to relevance.
Yes.
All right, sustained. And so that answer should be stricken. It
Yeah,
wasn't.
exactly. I
Sorry.
was just going to say, too late. She's already said it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey,
Jesus,
Sancho.
this is This is bad. This is...
It was pretty bad.
Ma'am, are you back living at the house at Culberson when you're not being sanctioned?
Yes.
Are you in a relationship with Mr. Carter now, or is it more
Yes.
you're back in a
Uh-huh.
relationship? Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're taking a break because the person reading has to. This is driving me crazy. We're on a break, but then we're going to go back and Mr. Giger, if you'd help the witness down.
I will, Your Honor.
I need everyone to have a seat. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're going to take a recess. We're back from recess. All right, thank you. I need everybody to be seated. Mr. Holtzclaw, you're excused. Oh my gosh. Let the record reflect that all members of the jury are present. We're back. Mr. Giger, if you'd get your witness, please. Ma'am, I need to remind you, you're still under oath.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Adams, cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's great. So that we can get a timeline of the version of your events that occurred in this case, is that the very first time you talked to law enforcement, Detective Davis in this case, was while you were in the Oklahoma County Jail on August the 27th of 2014, correct?
Yes.
And you just told the jury that the reason you were in the jail on August 27th of 2014 is because you had relapsed, correct?
Yes.
That's the reason you were incarcerated on August the 27th.
I was AWOL off my program. I relapsed.
It was actually much more than that, because on August 26th, the day before you ever met with Detective Davis, you were arrested by a member of the Oklahoma City Police Department, correct?
Mr. Giger.
Alice.
Yep, Alice, line 8.
I'm shouting objection, Your Honor, and I'm muted. Objection, Your
Come
Honor.
up. Come up. What's the
It's-
objection?
It's not a conviction, and to go into the facts of another case is not proper impeachment.
Judge, she's testified it's because she was AWOL, she had relapsed. She'd been accused of another crime, which I intend on bringing up, that she was arrested by an officer. She said it was simply because she had relapsed, and that's the reason she was in jail.
I'll let you ask her the reasons she was in jail in a leading question, but not go into any of the details about it.
Well, Judge, this is very important, because what happens is she's pulled over and she's a passenger in the car. She gives a fake name to the police officer, and she calls in a false shooting to her own address to try and get the officer pulled off. It is extremely relevant to this case. She just tried to downplay it and say she had only relapsed. There's a lot more to this story than that, and the jury needs to hear the truth, and I intend on getting into the fact that she lied to the officer. They found out she was lying, and she made a false 911 call.
What was the charge that she was?
For making a false 911 call and for false information to a police officer. So it wasn't a relapse. It was new crimes.
Well, I'll let you ask her in a leading question of what she was arrested for, but I'm not going to allow you to go back into the details of that.
Okay. So, establishing the fact that the very first time you ever talked to law enforcement about Officer Holtzclaw was August the 27th of 2014. The truth of the matter is, what happened was on August 26th of 2014. You were a passenger in a vehicle that had been
Correct.
pulled over by a police officer here in Oklahoma City, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
All right, ask another question from there.
You, after being pulled over, used your cell phone and called 911 and
All right, hang on just a second.
Objection, Your Honor.
Come up. I don't
Your
know who
Honor,
Miss French
may I
is.
approach?
I don't know who Miss French is. Oh, the attorney. Okay. I'll read for Miss French because I didn't know she was
Right.
here. Miss French, Your Honor, may I approach the court? Come on up, Miss French. The court. All right. We've got Miss French here from the Public Defender's Office. You're Miss Grate's attorney, correct? Yes, Your Honor. I'm the attorney of record in the case that Mr. Adams is speaking about. That is a pending matter. There is no plea and there is no plea agreement. I would object to any questions on her behalf and assert her Fifth Amendment right to any questions that are involved in that case. Okay.
if she's advising her to take the fifth, I ask that she take the fifth. But this is extremely important, Judge, because what it is they want the jury to believe is that she's simply in jail because she's relapsed. No, she's out committing additional crimes. She's calling 911, and she calls 911 to call, and she calls the 911 call in to her house on Culberson is where, and they go out on that, go to Culberson. We didn't ever call 911. The patrol officer gets the phone number that called 911, walks back to where Miss Grate is, calls the phone call that called 911, and her phone starts ringing. It's extremely relevant to this case.
Miss French, Your Honor, if I may, when she was arrested, there was an active warrant out in her CF-13 case number that she was on probation for female diversion. There was an active warrant out and she was arrested on that also. All right, this will be the ruling. You can ask in a leading question what she was arrested for in jail, what she was arrested for in jail for. Miss French, you're welcome to sit at this first chair. I'll tell the jury who you are. And if there's any other questions that you think might incriminate her, you can make an objection on her behalf. Miss French, thank you.
Okay, I want the record.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, Scott. The state believes that to go into those additional questions and force her to take the fifth is not a proper method of impeachment. She has not been convicted under 2609. Those are the items that counsel is able to go into, and he's not able to go into statements on an entirely collateral matter. She was in jail for probation violation. I agree with the court. Because of the relevance of that event, a leading question, there's not the only thing you were in jail for. You were also charged with making a false 911 call and giving false information. And I think it's also a drug paraphernalia charge as well that's pending. But then to let him then to start asking questions about the detail and to force her to take the fifth, it's not proper impeachment. And I'm not going to object to that happening.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, she says I'm going to object to that happening. Sorry.
Mr. Adams, again, I want the record to reflect that this is an extremely crucial area of our defense, and I'm asking to be able to go into it. Maybe not into specific detail, but detail enough that the jury understands the nature of the allegations other than just the name of the charges.
Well, because of the way it arose in direct examination, that's why I'm allowing you to ask a leading question about the charge that she was in jail for. I don't know what else may arise from your questions, but I'm instructing you not to go into the details of that arrest and what you believe the evidence to be, or what the police even believe the evidence to be on that. And Ms. French, you can sit at the front and I'll tell the jury who you are, Ms. French. Your Honor, may I have just a moment with her so that she understands where the rule lies? The court. Deputy, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take about a 2-minute recess. That is Ms. French. She is Ms. Grate's attorney. Here they had a discussion off the record. All right, Ms. Grate, if you will retake the stand, you're still under oath. Ms. French, you are welcome to sit there close to your client. Ms. French. Thank you, Judge. I'll just sit here, the court. That'll be fine. Mr. Adams, you may proceed.
Back the day before you met Detective Davis, you talked to her in the Oklahoma County Jail. You were arrested on August 26th of 2014 for making a false 911 call, obstructing an Oklahoma City police officer, and possession of drug paraphernalia, correct?
Yes.
Now, after that's why you're in jail. And there were some outstanding warrants for your arrest, correct?
Yes.
You had agreed back a year prior to this to go into the drug diversion program here in Oklahoma County, correct?
Yes.
And in that drug diversion program, it's strictly monitored program, right? Correct?
Yes.
And you continually violated the rules and conditions over there, correct?
Yes.
And they kept giving you chances, trying to help you out, right?
Yes.
In any event, whenever you did talk to Detective Davis, you never told her about this route that you testified about here today. That officer Holtzclaw going the wrong way on Jordan. You never talked to her about that, did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. In the interviews that you gave on August 27th of 2014, you're testifying that you told Detective Davis that Officer Holtzclaw went the wrong way to Culberson on Jordan, correct?
It what?
Did you ever mention at all to Detective Davis back on August 27th of 2014 that in your interaction with Officer Holtzclaw, he went the wrong way on Jordan?
That he was headed the wrong way? Yes.
Yes.
And that's why he turned around. And
Okay. Is your testimony here today that you did tell Detective Davis in that interview that he was going the wrong way on Jordan to get you to Culberson?
I'm sure that I did. I don't know 100% if I did say that, but I did. That's what happened.
Again,
I don't know if I told her that he was going the wrong way at that moment, but I'm sure that I did because that's what he was doing.
you would agree with me that at the time, you would agree with me at the preliminary hearing, you did not talk at all about going the wrong way on Jordan, correct? And how that made you nervous?
I don't remember.
Okay. The first time you ever testified or even talked about Officer Holtzclaw going south on Jordan the wrong way to Culberson is today. Would that be a fair statement?
No, that's not the first time I've talked about it.
When is the first time you ever saw this exhibit 208? Who showed that to you? The red line deal on the way Officer Holtzclaw got to Culberson. Who showed that to you?
That was today. Him.
Have you been talking to the Oklahoma City Police Department, to the DA's office about this case while it's been pending?
What?
Have you been having discussions?
I've told my side of the story. I don't know what you're asking.
Okay. Have you had meetings with the Oklahoma County DA's office?
Meetings?
Have you ever met with them down here at the courthouse and talked to them?
Down here?
Yes, down here, downtown.
Yeah. I mean, have I been here? Talked to him? I don't know specifically what you're asking me.
Have you?
Have I been here and talked? Yes. I've talked to him today,
And before today?
yesterday, when I was here yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. And before that?
Down here at the courthouse? No.
Yes, well, did you talk?
Well, yeah. The pre-trial thing.
Okay. Talk to the DA then too, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then in your discussions with Detective Davis, you talk about that when you first come into contact with Officer Holtzclaw, that you had been smoking crack, cocaine, correct?
Yes.
You were high.
I had been inhaling crack cocaine.
And you told Officer Holtzclaw that.
Yes.
And you told him that you were out working on the streets of Oklahoma City, correct?
Yes.
And that every time you were trying to get home, you were getting picked up by a date.
Yes.
And what that means is that you were out there and you were every time you were trying to get home, but every time you tried to go home, someone would pick you up and pay you money to perform sex acts, correct?
Yes.
And Officer Holtzclaw said you don't need to be over here. This is not a good area.
I don't remember him specifically saying that.
Do you remember you asking him for a ride home and him telling you that he'll take you home?
Yes.
Yes? Because you'd done that in the past with other police officers, you would ask them for a ride home and they'd taken you home.
No, I did not ask for a ride home. One took me to detox, and then one took me to my brother's house, and he let me know that I needed to go home.
Okay, so you obviously had rides by other members of the Oklahoma City Police Department. You didn't think that was unusual?
Right.
Okay. And you felt like Officer Holtzclaw was trying to help you get home where you'd been trying to go without having to pick up other dates, correct?
Yes.
And in fact, he'd actually smashed a crack pipe for you, correct? Or had you smash it?
I believe I smashed it.
Okay. In any event, he made you discard to get rid of the crack pipe,
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
And you're over there on 15th and Jordan. Do you know a girl by the name of Tabitha Barnes?
I was on 14th.
14th and Jordan. Do you know a lady that lives close to there by the name of Tabitha Barnes?
I don't. I might know her street name. I'm not for sure.
Do you know Tab? Is that a no?
No, I don't know a Tab. I may know her by face. Do you have a picture of her?
I do. And I'll get that here in just a minute. Do you know a girl by the name of Florine Mathis?
That sounds familiar.
You admit that there were, where Officer Holtzclaw came into contact with you, you talked about going to the Ramp's house. That's a crack house.
Yes.
And you understand that crack houses, that's where people do drugs
Yes.
and buy drugs.
Uh-huh.
Yes?
Yes.
There's more than just one over there in that area, correct? There's more than just...
That's just the one I go to. I'm not for sure what's going on in the area for sure.
You talked about going to a different crack house at a different time, don't you? You testified the day that you met Officer Holtzclaw, you'd been to the Ramp house, the crack house, and you were smoking, correct?
Correct.
And at a later date, when you saw Officer Holtzclaw, when you say you saw Officer Holtzclaw, you recall telling this jury that you were at a different crack house with a different guy named Eastside.
Yeah, that it's not a crack house. It was his house
So you bought the crack from Eastside?
from another house.
From a different,
Down the street.
not Ramp's house,
No,
a different house.
correct.
So my point was, is there more than just one crack house over there on the northeast side, correct?
Of course.
Okay, so in any event, after Officer Holtzclaw, we know for a fact that he did take you home. He did he not?
Yes.
You would agree with me that even your state-issued ID that you possessed at the time that you say that you lost did not list the 633 Culberson as your residence,
Correct.
and you had no ID on you, correct?
And I had none.
You had no
And I
other
had
ID.
none?
Yeah, and you had no other ID on you at the time Officer Holtzclaw took you.
No, just mine. There's only one ID. There's only one Oklahoma state ID that I have.
And you didn't have that on you. You did not have it on you by the time you arrived at the residence on Culberson.
Correct.
And so Officer Holtzclaw did escort you up to the front door, correct?
Followed me up to the front door.
Followed you to the front door. And you certainly didn't think there was anything unusual about that because you had no ID showing you lived there, and you would think it would be reasonable for an officer to just to make sure you in fact really lived there, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I, yeah, I mean, I didn't think about it through his eyes, but yeah, that's just what I was thinking.
You told him at that point that you lived there with your boyfriend by the name of Willie.
Yes.
Now, you would agree with me that Willie is not the registered owner of that house at 633 Culberson either, is he?
Relevance, Your Honor.
All right, if you can answer if you know.
Yes.
Overruled.
Are you telling this jury that Willie is the registered owner?
No, Willie's not the registered owner, but he lives and he pays all the bills here. She's passed away. His people's passed away.
Since who passed away?
Since, well, I'm bad with how you say his people's passed away.
At any time did this house at 633 Culberson, to your knowledge, ever go through any probate that allowed Willie to live in this house?
Relevance.
Overruled.
What is probate?
Did it go through any legal proceedings of any kind, this house?
No, he pays the back taxes on it or the taxes on it a year.
So all I'm asking is whether or not you have any information whatsoever whether or not this house has been through any legal proceedings at all.
No, it has not. I do not. It has not been up through no legal proceedings.
So some lady has died and Willie was staying there, correct?
That was his friend, and she passed away. Correct.
And at the time that when you had this altercation with Officer Holtzclaw, Willie, you had a room at that house, you and Willie.
Yes.
And is it Will Carter?
Will Carter.
Okay. I'll call him Mr. Carter.
Thank you.
You and Mr. Carter lived at that residence, correct?
Yes.
Prior to your contact with Officer Holtzclaw, you and Mr. Carter actually slept in the same bedroom.
Yeah, we have been in the same bedroom.
Okay. Was he charging you rent at that time?
Will?
Yes.
No.
Okay. But at some point in time, between the time you stayed with Will, Mr. Carter in his bedroom, and to that time you ran into Officer Holtzclaw on this particular day, you and Mr. Carter had some sort of disagreement about you doing drugs and relapsing, and you had to move into a different room.
Yeah, he just didn't want me sleeping in the same bed with him. He was angry at me.
He didn't want you to stay in the same bed with you.
He didn't want to sleep in the same bed with me. He was angry at me.
Mr. Carter was angry at you.
Yes.
Prior to you ever even talking to Mr. Officer Holtzclaw?
Yes. Prior? Yes. Yes.
Okay. So Officer Holtzclaw under your version of events, walks in the house. And again, there's nothing in the first floor that identifies you as living there. Would that be a fair statement?
Correct.
Okay. And then you take him upstairs. You're saying this is Willie's, Mr. Carter's bedroom,
Yes.
and this is my bedroom.
Right.
And it's your testimony at that point in time that you sat on the bed that you've identified.
No, he asked me to sit on the bed.
Okay. Whether he asked you or whatever, you sat on the bed, correct?
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
And that's what you've identified as your bedroom, correct?
Yes.
This is 215 for the record.
Correct.
That is the same bed where you were saying these activities between you and Officer Holtzclaw
Yes.
occurred, correct?
Yes.
That bed has not changed, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, under your version of events, you say that you sat on the edge of the bed that Officer Holtzclaw without saying anything more to you, or did he say that this is a lot better than the county, correct?
Not correct. He asked me to sit on the bed, and he said this is a lot better than the county.
Okay, under your version of events, he asked you to sit on the bed, and he told you this is better than the county, correct?
Yes.
Then under your version of events, he unzips his pants, does not remove his gun belt or anything, but then, and I believe I'm using your words, he inserted a ram. Did he say ram?
Inserted.
He inserted his penis into your
Yeah.
mouth, correct?
Yes.
You said that that's lasted for 5 to 10 minutes?
Yes.
Now, when you were having this discussion with Detective Davis at the county jail, you told her that he was kind of a dirty and you kept wiping your mouth and you were getting hair and saliva, correct?
Uh-huh.
Do you recall telling her that?
Yes.
And you would wipe it down on the bed frame or on the wood frame around the bed, correct?
Uh-huh. Correct.
Are you agreeing with me?
And on the chair.
And would you also wipe it on the plastic covering that covers the mattress on that bed that we're looking at in Exhibit 215, correct?
On the plastic covering?
You talk in your interview with Detective Davis back in August 27th of 2014. You talk about wiping your mouth after you give Officer Holtzclaw head, and that you wipe it on the plastic covering the mattress, correct?
I wiped it on the bed and on the chair. I don't know.
You wiped it.
I don't specifically remember. That's all I'm saying. I just don't specifically remember saying that it was on the plastic covering. But if I did, then that's what I said at the moment. Right now, I know that what I'm saying is on the bed or the chair. That was,
You were telling Detective Davis that you were wiping hair and saliva on the bed, on the frame, and all over the place, correct?
yes.
Okay. Now, after you told her those things, you also told her that he then had you lay back and have sex with you, correct?
Correct.
Meaning intercourse.
Yes.
Again, also Holtzclaw, under your version of events, never undid his gun belt and never undid his belt and dropped his pants or anything. He simply did it through his zipper, correct?
Yes.
You're agreeing with me?
Yes.
Okay. And you're saying that while this was occurring, you're laying back on the bed and we're looking at Exhibit 215 and Officer Holtzclaw is standing up, correct?
When he was having sex with,
When he's allegedly having intercourse with you.
no, he got on top of me.
Okay. And that was my next question. So what had to happen was Officer Holtzclaw actually got, under your version of events, got on top of you on the bed with all his clothes on, his gun and everything on, and had intercourse with you, correct?
Yes. In like push-up position.
And whenever you had this interview with Detective Davis, you were absolutely sure that he ejaculated or came during that encounter, correct?
No, I did not say I was absolutely sure.
Do you deny the fact that you told her on 2 previous occasions in that interview that he ejaculated during intercourse with you?
No, I have not been. I have never been 100% sure that he ejaculated. So I did not say I was 100% sure ever.
Did you tell Detective? Did you talk to? Did you talk about pre-cum with Detective Davis?
Yeah, I have.
And you said it. And you said at least there's some pre-cum for sure. Do you recall that?
Yeah,
And you told her that you told her that on this pre-cum or the ejaculation that you took a rag and you wiped your vagina with it and you threw it in the closet, correct?
yes.
Then what happens is later on you call back from the county jail about a week later and you tell Detective Davis that it's crucial for her to look at the chair in the room because there would be DNA on the chair, correct?
There could be. Yep.
Are you agreeing with me?
Yes.
And you've described the entire bed and how they needed to look at the bed, correct? And then you told her specifically to go to the house, to go to the, and you told her specifically to go into those drawers that we see depicted in 215 on the left-hand side, that you think you might have placed the rag that you wiped your vagina with in one of those drawers, correct?
No.
You deny that you ever said anything like that?
Yes, I knew. I wiped and I threw it in the closet.
Did you ever specifically tell
Oh.
Detective Davis to take a look in any of those drawers? Most particularly the third drawer of that dresser for anything?
What'd you say?
Did you specifically a week after your initial discussion with Detective Davis did you call Detective Davis back from county jail and talk to her?
Yes.
And you were talking to her about where they could find some DNA, correct?
Yes.
You talked to her about there being possibly 9 drawers on the top part of that curio that we see on the left-hand side.
That there was 9 drawers?
Do you describe the closet, Detective Davis, in this telephone interview?
No, I don't describe the closet. I just tell her I threw the rag in there, the closet.
Did you ever talk about any drawers being in your closet that we don't see on number 215?
I'm not for sure if I brought that up. I don't know why I would.
Were there drawers in your closet at the time you say this alleged assault occurred?
Was there what?
Drawers.
Yes, there's.
Things you pull out and put things into.
It's built in.
Sorry.
In the closet.
Yes.
Get your mind out of the gutter. Okay. Did you specifically tell Detective Davis to look in those drawers for this rag?
No, I don't remember specifically saying look in those drawers for this rag.
Okay. Did you specifically tell her to focus on the chair and the rag in the closet?
Yes.
And did you tell her that just in case you moved the rag, it could be in the second or third drawer next to your bed? Did you tell her that?
I don't remember specifically saying that about my drawers next to the bed. I mean, I might have said that. No. No, I don't remember saying that.
You don't remember that.
Uh-uh.
And again, to be fair with you, number 214, which has been admitted into evidence, again, is the bed where you say all this activity took place, correct?
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
And do you recall Mr. Giger asking you if you ever reported this to anyone in law enforcement? And your exact answer was, quote, what am I going to tell them, end quote. Do you recall giving that answer in front of this jury?
That sounds like something I'd say.
What am I going to tell them?
Yeah.
Well, at the point in time you say all these events had happened, did you ever think you could have called the police and say, I just got raped by an Oklahoma City police officer and I've got DNA all over the place? Did you ever think about that?
No, I wasn't. That's not, was not my focus.
That wasn't your focus?
No.
That you had just been allegedly raped by a member of the Oklahoma City Police Department, and you at the time say you had DNA all over your bed, on a rag, in the closet. You didn't think to tell somebody about that?
Asked and answered.
Overruled.
No, I didn't think to tell anybody that because that's not how I was looking at it through those eyes. I was looking at it through I just had sex in my home with a police officer, that I lived there with my man and I've offended that situation. I've disrespected. My home's been disrespected. And then now, that's how I'm thinking about it. I didn't think about when I wiped. That was why, because I knew Will would be probably could show up any minutes. I didn't know how to handle that. The main focus that I was thinking of was the disrespect, and this has just taken place in my home. So, no, I was not at that point. I was not in my frame of mind like that to think that I was not thinking that myself like that at all at that moment in my life.
My only point was, Miss Great, was if in fact these events, as you say, they are is true,
They are.
you could have called anybody in 911 and said, not only was I raped by an Oklahoma City police officer, that I have DNA all over the place in my room, correct?
Yeah,
Are you agreeing with me? Yes?
I could have if I was in that frame, in that mind frame,
Okay. Were you not in mind frame because you were under the influence of crack cocaine?
and had been prostituting my body.
What does prostituting your body, does that also mean you with your reasoning or thinking ability?
And my worthiness of how I feel about myself, yes, it does.
Okay. In regards to talking to Detective Davis when when she asked you whether or not these events were consensual that you say that happened with you and Officer Holtzclaw, you said they weren't consensual because no money has ever exchanged hands.
Correct.
Wow.
So, did it happen?
No. That's just an interesting.
Oh, okay.
I don't
So
remember that. I don't remember that from the interview, but it could have been
Maybe.
said, but I don't remember.
That rings
Maybe.
a bell for me.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
kind of does for me too, but I can't remember for sure. Okay, 923. So are you telling this jury that if Officer Holtzclaw had paid you, that you would not have made a report?
That if he had paid me, I mean, I'm a prostitute selling my body for crack.
Okay.
So if you're not paying me, I mean, I don't want it. Point blank. It's what it is. I don't know how else to make that clear.
Now, also, Mr. Giger talked to you about the people that you said that you've talked to about this or you told about this. And you said you talked to Eastside, but we don't know his real name, correct?
Right?
And Eastside's the individual you're saying after these events happened that you went to another crack, you bought crack from Eastside, whatever. You were with Eastside.
No. You're asking me, did I buy crack from Eastside? We just went over this. And I said we bought crack at another house and then we went to Eastside's house. That's what I said a while ago. And I'm saying again now.
Where does Eastside live?
off of 16th and Highland.
Okay. And that's when you allegedly saw Officer Holtzclaw, and he said, quote unquote, hey.
Yelling out, hey, or something. Like,
And you certainly didn't call any police officers as at that point in time, did you?
no, I was looking at the ground. I had my crack in my hand, fixing to go smoke some crack. I was looking at the ground. I see this situation going on. I'm already in another situation. Only thing I do is get in the back outhouse and smoke some crack and get away from the situation.
Well, he also, Mr. Giger, asked you who else you complained to about, to Officer Holtzclaw about. You stated that you talked to your father about it, correct?
Okay, what's the question?
Mr. Giger also asked who else you talked about Officer Holtzclaw and complained to about. And you said you had complained to your father.
Yes,
Yes?
yes,
You also complained to some detention officers at the Oklahoma County Jail, did you not? When you were picked up on that false 911 call?
no. That was previously before the 911 call. And it was in July.
Well,
I got picked up in July on something else. And so when I went in there, I was high and I don't remember. So when she had came and pulled me out of my cell for the investigators, she was telling me about that. That's why I brought that up because I was saying that, but I was underneath the influence and I don't remember saying that. But she's like, I was yelling. I was raped by a police officer and now she knows that I was telling truth.
she does? Well, and you understand, do you know what her name is?
It was not Tisdale.
Tisdale is a detention officer down at the Oklahoma County Jail.
Yeah, I know. It was her and Tisdale was together all the time.
How about Hornbeck?
Hornbeck.
So Hornbeck actually what Hornbeck says is that when you came in on your arrest for the 911 is when you were screaming and yelling about the officer who brought you down for the 911. Do you recall that?
Hearsay.
All right, I'm going to sustain as to the form of the question.
Okay. Do you recall when you were arrested on the 911 call on that August the 26th of 2014, getting taken down to the Oklahoma County Jail?
I'm just going to say that that's what she said. I don't remember what time it was. I'm assuming it was the July one. Whether it was the July one or when I had the warrant for my arrest on top of the 911 call to get out the situation.
I'm just asking you if you recall when you were transported down to the Oklahoma County Jail on August the 26th of 2014 under arrest for placing a fake 911 call. Do you recall that? This would have been the day before you met with Detective Davis. Do you recall any of that?
I don't know exactly what you're asking.
Oh my God. Sure you do. I'm asking, do you recall anything about being arrested for the fake 911 call and being transported down to the Oklahoma County Jail? Do you recall that happening on August the 26th of 2014?
Do I remember anything about that situation?
Do you remember anything at all, period, about that day?
Some.
No, is that what you just said?
I said, do I, what, what?
Do you? I'm trying to be as fair as I possibly can with you. Do you recall the interview with Detective Davis on August 27th of 2014? She first came, the first time she ever talked about Officer Holtzclaw.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Do you recall the day before that when you were arrested for making the fake 911 call?
I mean, you need to ask specifically, are you asking me to recall? That's what I'm.
Do you recall the cuffs being placed on you when you were under arrest for making a fake 911 call by a patrol officer? Do you recall that? No?
Need to answer out loud, ma'am.
Well, she
Finally.
really don't want. She really don't want to talk about this, does she?
No, she
No.
does not.
Jesus, like she's been instructed not to talk about it. That's what I'm detecting. Anyway,
Mhm.
line 13. Okay, do you recall when you arrived at the Oklahoma County Jail on August the 26th of 2014, complaining to anyone about the arresting officer in that case? Yes or no?
No.
No?
No.
Miss Gray, do you have an extensive criminal history? You have an extensive criminal history, do you not? Yes or no?
Yes.
You would agree with me that you were a convicted felon for larceny from a retailer, stealing from a retailer?
I have what's
Your Honor, before you answer, ma'am, can I approach?
Come up.
Your Honor, the conviction he's asking about occurred in 2000. I would object to that as being outside the last 10 years. There's another conviction in 2002 for CDS.
Let me start with that one. She was convicted in 2000, and what was the sentence?
What was that?
How long was the sentence?
Judge, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Here's the problem. It starts in 2000, Judge, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And I was just trying to get her to agree that she was, but she just sits there and wants to play games. So I'm going to go through it.
In 2000, it was 1 year to do, Your Honor.
If the probative value outweighs the prejudicial effect, anything over 10 years, and I don't know if her sentence was completed or not, but all I'm asking her is to go back to that one. I'll just go forward, and I'm not going to go back any further than 2000.
Are you reading something or?
I'm sorry, Judge. My recollection is that she has 7 prior convictions. The earliest one is in 2000. It was a 1-year sentence. The second one was 2002, but it was an 8-year sentence. So, in theory, she would still be within the 10-year realm on that one. So, that would make it 6 prior convictions within that 10 years and 7 within.
All right, within 10 years.
Okay, and I'm asking to be able to allow it to go back to her initial. It doesn't prevent it from coming in. I'm asking that the probative value it outweighs the prejudicial effect by allowing me to go back when she first started picking up felony charges just to show her character. I'm allowed to attack her character and her bias.
Okay, not the 2000.
Okay. Do you recall being convicted of a felony offense of receiving stolen property, identity theft, and possession of marijuana back in 2002?
yes.
Do you recall being convicted of the offense of engaging in lewdness back in 2006?
Yes.
Your Honor, I believe that's a misdemeanor.
It's a crime involving moral turpitude, Your Honor.
Still a misdemeanor.
Sustained.
May I approach?
Come up.
Your Honor, a misdemeanor count involving moral turpitude, which engaging in an act of lewdness is admissible, and I'd ask that I'd be allowed to get into it.
All right. Why are you saying that a crime simply involving moral turpitude is admissible under 2609?
It's involving dishonesty or false statement, Your Honor, which I believe engaging in an act of lewdness is.
All right, sustained.
You recall being convicted back in 2006 of unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, felony offenses, possession of CDS, cocaine, and obstructing an officer in performance of his duties. Do you recall that?
Your Honor, again, obstruction is not a felony.
Sustained as to the third conviction.
Okay. Well, then, do you recall being convicted of the felony offenses, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, and possession of controlled dangerous substances, cocaine?
Yes.
Yes? Do you recall also being convicted in 2007 of possession of controlled dangerous substance, cocaine?
Yes.
Do you also recall being convicted in a different case in 2007, possession of a controlled dangerous substance, cocaine?
Yes.
Do you also recall being convicted in 2013 here in Oklahoma County on a felony offense, possession of a controlled dangerous substance, cocaine?
Yes.
Do you recall being convicted in 2013 in a different case here in Oklahoma County for unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, possession of a controlled and dangerous substance, cocaine, and a felony attempting to elude?
Yes.
And then, so you have all these felony convictions, and you're currently facing charges in regards to another
Objection to pending cases, Your Honor.
felony today, correct?
Okay, overruled on that. You can answer that.
What is the question again?
You're also currently facing felony charges as we sit here today, a new case, correct?
Yes.
And that is unauthorized use of a motor vehicle and aggravated attempting to elude a police officer.
Yes.
Now, are you aware that a search warrant was issued over there at the residence where you resided at 633 Culberson Drive?
That search warrant was issued?
That a search warrant was
You mean that they went? Yes.
after you had your discussions with Detective Davis in this case. In this case, the search warrant was issued for items that you told her about at 633 Culberson Drive.
Yes.
Has anyone from law enforcement, the DA's office, or anyone told you what the results were of that analysis?
No.
Of any of those? So you have no idea what they are. Okay. Pass the witness.
Redirect.
Just give me 1 second, Judge. I just have one question. I want to make sure, Miss Grate, this map that you put into evidence today was the first day that I showed you that, correct?
Uh-huh. Yes.
Object to the formula, Your Honor.
Sustained.
I'll rephrase. Was today the first day I showed you this?
Yes.
Hadn't seen it before?
No.
Hadn't talked about it before?
No.
That's all.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. You'll be remanded to the custody of the Oklahoma County Sheriff.
Johnny Grate, Your Honor.
That's the next trial,
We're done.
or the next,
That's
yeah.
All
Next
right,
time.
right.
Whew. Well, she did
Holy
not want. She
crap.
did not want to talk about August 26th.
Nope, she
Mm-mm.
certainly did not.
No. No, because I mean that is a felony to make a false 911 call, especially
Oh, yeah.
about a shooting.
Absolutely. And she did that on
Oh,
purpose to
man.
try to get that officer off their car. And she clearly remembers all of it. And I think she was told not to resist answering that.
Yeah. Well, and her attorney for that case was there too in the courtroom.
Yeah.
So, but there must have been some discussion when they took that little 2-minute break. There must have been some discussion about, how she could answer, what she could answer and how.
Yep.
So Adams knew exactly what he could answer, and she was told to answer only no or yes or to be evasive. So, oh, go. And then Liam makes a good point. Prosecution knows that the detention officers will not corroborate. Did you hear that? Corroborate. Fuck it. Her claim of shouting about an assault when she claimed in July. Yeah, that's I don't know. Kay's not on the panel. I don't know if she's still in the chat or not, but I don't remember. I think they talked about that in the preliminary, and that's the only time I remember any conversation about that. But she was very clear in preliminary that she knew. Oh, yay, there she is. Good. But she was very clear. Hey, Kay.
Hello.
Hey, Kay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
You did go out and get something to eat. I'm sure that you brought enough for the entire class. I'm just saying.
Oh, it was all terrible.
Oh.
I don't believe her.
It actually really was. Who puts
Oh,
provolone
no.
cheese on a pizza? Come on, man.
Oh,
Provolone? I don't think so. No.
not
Mozzarella.
cheese. I put it on
Mozzarella.
sandwiches, but not on pizza. Yeah.
All right. I'm so glad I could crash in here and divert the show.
Oh,
Go ahead and ask her, Rhonda.
So, I don't remember anywhere else about this claim that she made. I only remember it in the preliminary where she was talking about the detention officers, saying that when she went in on the 26th that she was screaming, "I was raped by a police officer." That's the only time I ever heard about that was during the preliminary testimony, but I don't know. So I don't know if you knew of any other time that I'm just not remembering.
I'm not sure about that. I'm going to have to check into that. Cherie's
popped in too as well, by the way, while we were reading. Do you remember anything about that, Cherie? I don't know if she... Hello?
She's not here anymore.
She's not able to... Oh, she's not?
Oh, yeah, she is. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, I wasn't... okay, well, anyway, I know she may be busy, and that's fine. Well, we'll look into it, but...
I'm bummed I missed all this testimony tonight. I'll be up for 2.5 hours listening to it.
Yeah, sorry. Well, there was a bit of there was some comic. Well, some people in the chat didn't think it was funny, but I'm going to say it again. When you do what we do, when you look at all these horrible things that we go through, and we try to, dig deep into some of these cases, it can be very taxing on our minds and our souls sometimes. And so we do laugh at some things, and, it may be immature, and it may be to some people, not funny, and that's fine. But there are some things that are just fucking funny. There's just nothing you can do. You can't get around it. And, at least we can't. We're not capable of it.
Well,
but there's a funny part.
Never mind.
Susan's got a special.
Who got in trouble? Who did
Nobody got in trouble. It wasn't me.
I did it.
Susan, you upset people in our chat.
I did.
Well, I don't know that it was so much that she upset people with what she said. It was the rest of us, including her, that could not stop laughing at it. We just couldn't stop. That's the only time I ever heard about that was during the preliminary
Same here.
testimony. But were you here then, Cherie? Did you hear it?
I think
Oh,
it's
gosh,
somewhere
it was
around
funny.
an hour 15,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
Well, I'll try not to fall asleep before then.
Well, by the way, while we were reading. You don't hear anything about that, Cherie?
No, I don't. I didn't hear it until you had it and read it in
Oh, my.
preliminary last week.
Either, okay.
I
Well, then
about
listen,
lost all
um,
I about lost all three of them. I can tell you that right now. It was almost over right then. Done.
Oh my god.
And
Yeah,
then Alice
it
couldn't even carry on.
No, I hurt the giggles. Just hurt a fit of giggles. But you'll understand why when you play the replay.
Oh, you can't hear me? Oh,
Okay, well, anyway, she may be busy, that's fine. Well, we'll look into it, but.
are you talking? You couldn't hear me before?
No, we can't hear you, but I can hear the YouTube in the background.
Yeah, somebody's got their YouTube running.
Oh no, is it me?
That was probably me. I don't know what's going on, but
No, we couldn't hear you when I first asked you, we couldn't hear you. Yeah, I'm not apologizing, really, under your scars. Because I agree. If you don't like it, you don't have to be here to listen. And I agree. Under your scars, we need a round of likes for that because it was pretty epic, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it. And Liam says, got to release frustration and also recognize the ridiculous nature of some of those lines of questioning. Absolutely. Did I say licks? I meant to say likes. You said likes under your scar. Quit being silly. Anyway, yeah, the more we read, the more we hear from Giger and his direct examination. He leads every one of his witnesses so much that you would almost think he was doing cross-examination. His entire interrogation or entire line of questioning with Rosetta Grate, I would say was 99% leading. And
Yeah.
It really was.
you know,
Yeah.
And how much did Adams object to that?
once.
Are you
Very
kidding
little.
me?
Very little. And a lot of non-responses where he just kept going, where she didn't answer the question, and then he would just go on from there. No objections, like unresponsive.
I thought there would have been more objections or, relevance or, foundation or whatever for Daniel's lawyer, but there was hardly any.
Adams was. I think he fell asleep or something because, Jesus, it was terrible. He didn't say anything for a long
No.
time. Page and page and page. I'm like, are you even awake?
Yeah. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
How'd the judge do? Did he do any?
No, he was just there was plenty of times where he could have told her to speak up and actually answer, and he didn't. I think he done it maybe once or twice, but that was nearer the end. It wasn't when he should have done it.
Yeah,
And he
there were
went-
several
a lot
places where, yeah. Go ahead, Susan.
There were a lot of uh-huhs and they never told her to, say yes or no.
One time.
That was, once, but that was a lot of it.
There was a lot of places in this transcript where it just says for her answer, no audible response. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, it was. And there was not any objection to please, nothing. It was,
Yeah, no,
there were a few,
there was
there were some objection. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, but there was not. There was a couple near the end, Rhonda, but right at the
Yes,
beginning.
exactly.
I mean, especially when Giger say, well, what was it he said now? He said, "This is something," and then he went, and it was a pure leading question, and nothing. There was nothing from Daniel's lawyer. He could have said, "Objection, Your Honour," leading right at that precise moment in time, because he told her what it was and then handed her what it was.
Yeah. The dresser was in the room, wasn't it? The chair was
That's
over
what-
here. Was the chair not over here? The chair was over here, right? I mean, not those
Now-
exact
now it's
phrases,
different.
but that's what it was
The
like.
room is different in this picture, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that should have been an objection leading, but there was nothing.
And
And
I
that's what
think
annoys
Jack made
me.
the point, or maybe it was Liam in the chat, made the point that the more that Giger is allowed to get away with leading questions, the more he's going to do it. And he got away with every single leading question he asked. And it was just, you're going to really be, it was upsetting, actually. It was kind of upsetting, to be honest. But, it is what it is, so.
So I
Hey,
came
case
in on
10.
the part where they were talking about her criminal history and asking her what was the deal with 10 years, only going 10 years back, or
I guess
I mean-
that's some kind of rule.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know
and
if
there
that
was
a
only one.
prior-
There was only one prior, 2 years before that
Mhm.
the judge would not allow to come in.
Yeah.
But
One
he said there
prior-
was one prior arrest in
that
2000.
the judge wouldn't allow in?
It wouldn't allow
Prior
him to
to the
mention it.
10 years, you mean?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I misunderstood.
yeah. I
Okay.
think she had 9 altogether, didn't she?
I think that's what I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean,
And he wouldn't
as
let the
far as-
misdemeanors in either.
I wonder
Silly.
why.
Yeah.
And what were they?
What were the misdemeanors?
I guess we
I
wouldn't
don't
have heard
remember.
about it if you wouldn't let him in. I'll have to look
Well,
at that.
one was about moral turpitude, and I
Mm-hmm.
can't remember exactly what they were.
Is it stealing
were-
at the shops or something?
Yeah, shoplifting or something. I don't remember.
Liam is saying evasion. But
Something
that was
about a lewd
Oh,
act.
evasion. Oh yeah, lewd act. Yeah, there was. I mean, there's a list of them that Adams goes through, which, those are prior bad
Mostly.
acts, and I don't know. Go ahead.
mostly cocaine charges.
Yeah. The CDS, yeah. I don't know. It's just frustrating. I mean, Henderson didn't do horrible, but I mean, I didn't feel there wasn't really anything that I saw him sustain or overrule that I was like overly annoyed with, honestly. But I was confused about the whole 10 years back business.
Well, that and I think Adams definitely had to get that in front of the jury. But I think the more aggravating thing to me was the how Giger tried to mislead the jury that she was basically in jail because she was AWOL from her drug program, and that was
Yeah.
part of it. But that's not the reason. The driving
No.
reason was what she did on the 26th. It was completely misleading to the jury, and I think
Calling
Adams was right to.
911 and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I think Henderson should have handled that
Giger
better
did-
because
Yeah, Giger did not want the jury to know about that.
no, he didn't.
Yeah.
And what
Well,
she
and then
said
she
on her
had her
way in.
attorney present for that too. So
It hadn't gone to
I mean,
court yet.
So were
Yeah.
there any glaring contradictions between her preliminary testimony and this
The-
trial
the-
testimony
the-
that you recall?
the route that she said he took her on her way home. I guess she had never talked about that before. I mean, it was all convoluted. He started going the wrong direction, and then, you know, it took her on this long path to get her back to her house. And evidently, she had not said that in any of her previous interviews or even pre-trial.
yeah.
And
They
that
have an
she was
exhibit.
scared, and
She was so scared and so nervous, and she couldn't
Yeah.
believe this was happening to her.
Yeah, but you know, she's walking home and
208
she's walking home and she keeps getting a date. I got a date. I just
Well,
anyway,
I
I'm
guess
sorry.
you know Will Carter called it what it was. So
Yeah.
you know we've all
There
heard that
was,
interview.
yeah. And if you look at exhibit 208, K, they use Google Map or Google Aerial or something in exhibit 208 to show that. But I need to locate the radio traffic. Do you remember where under your stars? Andy put his wiener everywhere, but no DNA.
Mhm.
Oh, we're so mature. That's funny. But anyway, exhibit 208 shows an aerial view with the red line of this route that allegedly Holtzclaw took her on to get her from 14th and Jordan to Culbertson. It is the most bizarre looking, I think it's 208, yeah, let's see here. Let me find it real quick. Okay. Turn right 100 times. This is what, I don't know if you've ever known this or know it, Kay, but there is very little AVL information for this travel, for this incident. Do you remember where Daniel's radio traffic started when he said that he was transporting, that he was, what do they call it? What was it, a 10-8 or 10-14 or something? That he was transporting a female? I can't remember.
Wasn't it?
Is she still with us?
Wasn't it 14th and Jordan or Kate? I don't know. Man, I'm kind of
14th
lost.
and Kate
without
makes a
all my-
lot more sense, huh? Sorry,
I said
it's
I'm kind of
confusing.
lost without all my
Without your stuff, yeah.
without all my research stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to. Well, this is the map, the Google map, or the Google map that they used at trial. They didn't show, at least as of yet. Maybe they're going to do it when Kim Davis testifies. That's a possibility, I suppose. I'm sure it will be now that I think about it. But this is what they showed to Rosetta. This is what Giger showed her over here. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing if I'm on the screen. Over here being 14th and Jordan, where she says that she was picked up. And then she says that they went south, and she was like, hey, you know, you're taking me the wrong way. Why aren't you're not going the right way? You gotta go this way. So they go west, and then he heads up north. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Jack, this is Kate. Or Kay, this is Kate.
Oh, yeah.
I
Okay.
This is about all that we get as far as ABL is from this area over to where Culbertson was. We don't see ABL of any of this. Where that's why I'm wondering what the radio traffic says. And when you said Kate, that made more sense because that's about what we get as far as ABL. So, but all these other cases have maps and maps that they're in their police reports, all these different ABL maps, and there's one, maybe two, but those that we get in the police report are all of right here and right up here by the house. That's
What
it.
what does the police report say
About what?
about where he picked her up? Because I know we called her in. I know we have radio traffic on that.
Okay, it
I
says,
can't
let's see,
access
here
it
it
right
says,
now, though.
well, I've got I don't know what I'm showing on the screen. Okay, this is the police report. During the investigation, I also obtained Officer Holtzclaw's activity card. The activity card, Officer Holtzclaw documented his stop at Northeast 14th and Jordan out on subject. So I guess so. I guess he did. That's just weird to me, though, that we don't have
Documented.
it.
That's a weird
Huh?
word. Documented his stop. That's a weird thing
Yeah,
to say.
it
Like
is
he
weird.
wrote it down on his on that tracking sheet. That's what that makes me think of.
Yeah. Let's see
Are
what
they
that
doing
says.
on an
shenanigans?
activity card.
Yeah, that does sound like a weird way to say that. Let's see what I can see
Under
here.
Your Stars is asking, did he get any years for Rosetta Grate?
46, I think.
Yeah, he did on the oral sodomy, but not on the rape.
Oh wait,
That's
was
if I
she?
remember correctly.
Well, that wouldn't be 46 then. Am I ever confused with someone else? Dang it. I'm completely worthless without my computer.
Let's see. Cherie, are you able to look at that for Rosetta Grate's thing?
I'm
By
guessing
any
they
chance?
drew that
Her
Drew that
thing?
red
What
line
what
from-
thing?
Thing, I know that
Did
was really.
she get how many? Did Daniel get any years?
How many
for
years
Rosetta
she
Grate?
had?
Okay, yeah, I'll have to look. I don't know the years.
We'll find it. Look at how vague this is, Kay. This is in the police report. Minimize this a little bit so you can see. This is all we're getting as far as ABL. There is no street names here.
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
There's
having a hard
times.
time.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God,
Sorry.
they're watching Kill Bill in the background with the volume on Kill. And it sounds like someone's dying right now. Are you guys
I'm
hearing
sure they
this?
are.
Yeah, probably. No, can't hear it.
They're moaning, I guess.
I
Oh,
can't hear it. Oh. So the only thing that we're getting on this is the time, which is 7:15:34, 7:02, 7. And I'll look at this later, but that's all we're getting on that ABL. And this is all the ABL I can find in her police report.
Yeah,
That's it.
Cherie says Oklahoma City police officer Daniel Holtzclaw did in fact come into contact with Rosetta Grate near Northeast 14th and Jordan And that stop happened on April 24th, 2014 at about 7 p.m.
Okay. All right. So then why don't we get any more? Why don't we get, well, here's my question. Why then is this all that we're getting as far as the ABL? Any other ABL map we get on any other accuser, it would have the entire route that he drove her, the ABL from where he drove her from 14th and Jordan
Did
to
you
the location.
did you
So
pull?
that tells me that I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say
That tells you that she
that
what?
that she's lying about him going the wrong way and all
Oh,
that
she's
stuff. I think
definitely
that
lying. Yeah, she's definitely lying
well,
about all that.
and it
I
just
can't.
bothers me because I don't know. It's just
Did this come out of
pisses
the
me off.
OCR, the ABL?
This is in the police report right here. This is the police report that I have open.
Okay.
So
Oh my God, this movie.
I can't hear. Anyway, it's
Oh,
very
okay.
frustrating. I'm very frustrated by this. No ABL map.
Well, we need to
Because
check into that. We need to check into the tracking sheet that he would have in his car where he would write approximate times. But I
yeah,
wouldn't
we'll look
think
at that.
he would be writing approximate locations.
Yeah, I
I mean,
agree.
that
Well,
sheet wasn't that big of a deal, really. I mean, there wasn't some policy that, you have to document the exact time. I mean, it was more to
right.
track activity, I believe, because as Daniel explained one time, you were expected to, I don't know if the terminology used was get so many points in a shift, which a certain kind of stop would be a certain number of points,
Mhm.
because they wanted to make sure that people were doing a minimum amount of activity, which, Daniel always complains about some of the officers that he would work with that he perceived to be lazy because they would do the amount they had to do and then just kind of hang out instead of, continuing to do as much work as they could. And, we know from some correspondence that we've read from within the police department through some emails, we know that they were pushing those officers to make contact with people, to actually do these, to stop them and try to get them to talk to them and try to get information out of them, and basically hope that they're stopping people who are on the list of people they're trying to bring in. Like, I can't remember Daniel through his, doing as many stops as he could in a shift, having more activity than other people. He did end up coming into contact with what they labeled as one of the top 10 bad boys gang members that were had outstanding warrants that they were trying to bring in. Seems like that guy's last name was Tubbs.
Like, that does sound familiar, but I can't place
But
it right
my
now.
whole point is just that, a really big issue that I have with Oklahoma City Police Department is the way that they train their officers and the things they train their officers to do. And then the officers are gonna, they're gonna feel the fallout from doing Terry stops and stuff that they're trained to do and expected to do. In the emails,
Right.
you would read again and again, now get out there and be very proactive. We
That's right.
expect you to be very proactive.
Leah mid chat is asking, what's the start and stop times on the ABL? Would it show that he couldn't have gone that far off route on the way?
I mean,
Well,
AVL's gonna show exactly where he went because
which
yeah,
is why I think we don't. That's the reason I think we don't have the full ABL, because that ABL is going to completely be completely contradicted by her testimony of him having taken her the opposite. And really, it's not like the direction that he took her or the route that she claims he took her was bad. It wasn't like she said that he took her somewhere, parked for a minute, and did whatever. It's nothing like that, but it just goes to credibility. She's lying because she sticks to that story through the whole trial testimony. And, it's just, I don't know.
but he pulled an
I'll
AVL.
look into that.
He pulled exhibit,
Sorry, go ahead.
did you say 208 out while she was describing the route that he took her? And it really just shows the starting point. Is that?
Yeah,
or this is the
208.
exhibit with the red line.
Yes. But we don't have that in AVL format. We only have this that shows this route with the red line. That's it.
We have
Unless
to have
there's
an
an
AVL that ends
And
at
like I was just going to
Culbertson.
say, we do have one that ends at Culbertson, but it only shows about this much. It doesn't show all the way over here at 14th and Jordan. And this street right here, I was wrong. It's not Kate, it's Lottie. So it might show, the AVL might show from Lottie over, but I don't even think it's that much. I think it's pretty much just right here in this general area of the AVL is all that I get. Unless there's AVL maps somewhere else that I don't know about that's not in the police report. And I guess that's possible, but this is all we're seeing in the AVL map in her police report right here. None of all this other stuff.
Yeah, and just to go back to Under Your Scars question, Under Your Scars, it was count 8, and he got 20 years for Rosetta Grate. So, which is absolutely disgusting considering there is nothing, and she lied through her teeth. I mean, that is absolutely disgusting.
Sorry. Oh, hey, Travis. I've been not in Streamyard. I've been looking at documents. Travis says, yes, there was unwritten points. This is a term I've never heard before. Because say they wouldn't. Oh, because. Oh, fuck.
Oh my God.
I thought it was I thought it was. Jesus. Oh, God help me. I thought it was like a Latin legal term, and I was like, that's something I've never heard before. And I realized, because they couldn't be written as it would be profiling. City conceded that they were expected to have a minimum number of contacts, consensual encounters. Oh, referring to the proactive policing. Oh, God. Jesus. They had no protection for officers.
No, obviously.
Chief needs a new bathroom, so we can't afford new cameras for you to wear. Yeah. Well, they didn't even have cameras at that point. Training on stops, searches, etc. way substandard.
Yeah, training period way substandard. Not just
8 to 20 years.
substandard, but like shitty. Not
Yeah.
how, not the kind of policies, and it's kind of like, hey, have the corrupt guy that's been working on the force for 30 years train these new guys how to do the same shit.
Yeah, exactly. Liam says, without all the rest of the ABL, here is this report. We can estimate total distance traveled. I'll figure that out. I'm going to figure it out during the week for next time, because that's really, and I'm going to look through other exhibits too and see if there is any other ABL that gets brought into this testimony by Kim Davis. Because if there's not, even with the radio traffic, without the ABL showing that, you know, what she claimed at trial happened, that goes to her credibility again. You know, that's just more, only this time even more so to be impeached on, because that she should be impeached on, because, or should have been, because if there's no ABL to support the route other than that stupid Google map that they outlined in red, if there's no ABL to corroborate that, they can't say that. Well, I mean, I guess they can, because they
They
did.
say whatever
there
they
was-
want.
Yeah, they could say, because they did, but
Oh,
but I
Lord.
mean, I would think that
It was-
would be. I
Daniel's lawyer
doubt it
should have
could be
objected to it.
There
Yes.
you go. There's
Yes.
Yep.
I'll read ahead
Should've
and read what Kim Davis's
called her
testimony
on
is
that.
too. So, Travis says, that's precisely why the city was worried enough to pay some money to settle in mediation. Yeah. Yeah. So I wonder, well, that's not new evidence, though. That's something that should have been found by the defense attorney, and it wasn't. So.
that'd be more ineffective assistance of counsel if he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exactly.
Challenge it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
My brain's broken, obviously. I can't finish my own sentences.
She's in the air. The air where she is very thin. She's not getting proper oxygen to her brain. I'm the one who made the stupid Bika say. Travis, did you hear me try to turn the cuz word into a legal Latin word? Oh, Jesus, that was funny. I can laugh at myself. I have no problem. Liam says Adam's strategy was only to go to impeachment based on prior bad acts. Yeah, but he didn't attack any of the substance of the accusation. Yeah, and Swindry. See, and you wonder why I struggle with some words. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, I get it. Prior bad acts. I mean, we're dealing with this right now in the Stephen Avery case with prior bad acts. Absolutely, they shouldn't be a cause to say that somebody is guilty of doing something bad. But we're
He
talking
was
about an opposite
using them for impeachment of this witness.
Exactly, and that's different. in my opinion, maybe I'm justifying myself. I don't know, but yes, you really said that, Travis. And you spelled the word because, BACA space U or SE. So I didn't, it looked like two different words and it looked like a Latin term. So that's why I tried to do that. Oh, geez. So yes, that's what you said. Anyway, this has been a long one, just getting through that testimony. That was 95 pages. And we did stop a few times. We did have a little bit of a laughing spell that it was absolutely uncontrollable. It was completely out of our hands. And so we had to kind of, deal with that too. So I wish I hadn't let this go as long as I did, but I wanted to hear from Kay. And so we always want to hear what she has to say. So we're gonna wrap this up. Next week we're going to read. We're going to kind of go into some of the witness testimony, or at least excerpts of them. Johnny Grate, who was Rosetta's dad, and Willie Carter, who was her on again, off again boyfriend. Kay also during trial testimony, Gigger tried to imply with photos and leading testimony, that between the time that she was allegedly assaulted in her bedroom to the time that the detectives went over with the search warrant, that things had been moved around in her room. They weren't the same in her room as they were when she left it the last time. That was really, really frustrating. So I'm going to put together some pictures of inside of the room and the house and whatnot, and put them kind of in a little slide and put those in Rosetta Grate's room, so that those who were listening to the testimony tonight, we'll have the trial testimony in there, and I'll put the slides of the rooms of the house in there, so that you can kind of get a sense of what they're talking about. Yeah, that's all he did was leading testimony. It was hideous. Yeah, let's get me to 500 subs. I'm so close. Did we get any subs during the few hours? Hopefully. Anyway, so I'll put all that in there this week, and we'll look more into the AVL and see if there's any other AVL maps than what we have in the police report. Because if I'm wrong, I want to make sure I say that and give you the correct information. So I'll find out during this week and share it with you guys when we come on next week.
Well, even if there are, Rhonda, if the AVL shows that, it according to Scott Adams, that was the first time she had ever brought that up, was here in court at this testimony.
It was.
She had never mentioned it prior in any of her. So if that the AVL does show that, then that shows that they got her to say that, got her to explain that route.
Well, and I think during testimony, she said that the first time she ever saw that map with the red line path was the day before the trial, or the day before she testified, or that day?
No, at trial. Yeah, Gigger got her to say that at the very end. That was the first time she'd ever seen that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's sketch all by itself. So anyway, there's some digging. I need to really dig through this trial testimony with her, because there's a lot of things that you guys were reading, and I was like, no, that doesn't fit. This doesn't fit. That doesn't work. This, but I couldn't stop every time I saw something like that. And right now I can't recall what those were, but as I go through it again, I'll figure it out. So, all right. Before we go, I just want to let everybody, first of all, I want to say thank you so much to everybody in the chat. You guys were a great chat tonight. well, you guys are a great chat every night, but thank you so much for being here and asking the questions, making the comments. Please leave other questions and comments in the comment section below, so that we can have some discussion that way as well. So Jack, any final comments on our little reading tonight?
Oh, well, really irritating. You could tell I got irritated when she did everything but turn inside out to avoid answering the questions about August 26th. She did not want to talk about it. I still think she was told to avoid it or whatever. I can't prove that, obviously, but she talked about everything else pretty well. She was pretty open, and I think her memory's much better than what she lets on it to be, because she seemed kind of forthcoming in many areas and very clear. And then all of a sudden, she can't remember anything. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Can you ask it? What's the question? Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, and Scott Adams said, she's playing games, and I'm trying to get her to answer the question. So
that's right. He did say that. He got it on record.
Mm-hmm.
All righty.
She's a
Jack's been very
criminal.
busy.
She's
she
slick.
is. And you know what, Kay? Thank you for saying that, because Willie Carter did say that, and you saw that in the police report video that I showed you a few weeks ago. She is very slick, and she is very manipulative. And all of this, I'm forthcoming. I just tell it like it is. I just say what, I have no problem saying I'm a prostitute, and giving head is the thing that I'm best at, and this and this and that and that. And I don't wear underwear. It gets in the way of my, job. And I think that is all. I think that's just her normal way of surviving. And I think that's, Giger really gives her a lot of praise in his little presentation that he gives about, she's willing to say all of these things. Why is she going to lie about this? Well, I think that's exactly the point, in my opinion. So anyway,
because it's
yes,
good for her. That's why she lies, because she thinks it's good for her.
Whatever's going to benefit her, for sure.
Get you out of a bad situation or explain a bad situation.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a nature of addicts too. So
Sure.
There's that addiction aspect as well.
Right.
Yeah, but the thing is that we're no like judging them on what they did or for a living or anything like that. If that was the only way that they could survive, then that's the only way that they could survive and get the money for their drugs and maybe feed their kids or whatever. What we are getting on it is the lies that they have told to put an innocent man in the jail.
Right.
That's what annoys me about this. I couldn't care less whether they were prostitutes. I couldn't care less whether they were addicts, because we all know addicts and things like that. You know what I mean? So it's an illness for some of them, and sometimes people get so low that they do have to sell themselves or whatever just to make ends meet. Somebody might be doing it for their family, you know what I mean? So that's not what we're judging these people on. What we are doing is pointing out the lies and the ridiculousness of these charges that Daniel has been charged with when he has done nothing.
Amen.
Right. Travis, I just have to read this because it's pretty funny. It's pretty legit. Travis says, "How many can say that? I go commando because of work." She said it. I swear to God, she said it in the trial testimony.
Did she say that? She said,
yeah, they get in the way, and she loses them, and
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. It's pretty
Yeah, they
bad.
get misplaced.
Anyway,
That's why she was just when he threw her back on the bed. That's why she was just open and ready.
Yep, open for
yeah. Oh,
business.
open. And at
Open.
one point,
Okay.
Gideon says,
That's interesting.
"So you're lying, you're on the bed and your vagina," and then she cuts him off, and she says, "It's open. It's just available," or something to that effect. I was going, "Oh my god!" I put up a trigger graphic content warning a few times because I knew there was going to be really
And then
and
the whole
like
panty discussion. Yeah.
panties.
Oh my.
Anyway, yeah, you if you're going to be listening to it while you're in bed next to Stacy, you might not want to do that because there's going to be parts you're going to just not be able to be silent about. So I'll just give you that warning. Oh, true. Good job, Travis. Bagpipers. Other than that, I don't know.
What does that mean?
Oh yeah, it's.
I don't even know
it's
what
pretty
that
graphic.
means.
Oh, they don't wear underwear. Is that-
Bagpipers don't wear.
Yeah, Scotsman. Yeah, a true Scotsman does not wear
Right.
underwear under their kilt.
Hey,
Right.
I didn't know that until that episode of Sex in the City
Yeah,
at Charlotte and Trey's wedding when Trey's friend came over. Am I the only
right.
one? Only one who
Yeah,
watches Sex in the City?
yeah.
I never watched
Years
Sex in the
Yeah.
City,
Long time ago.
but I did know about no underwear under the kilts. I watched
Can't remember
Braveheart.
stuff like that.
Well, of course,
Anyway.
Samantha had to go out with that guy, the no underwear guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm finished.
Anyway,
Let's
it's
get outta
definitely it's definitely an interesting trial testimony. I'll just say that. So yeah, we'll be back next Tuesday from 5 p.m. Central again. We're going to read some more witness trial testimony, and I'll look through it. We might possibly get into also Elaine Taylor also testifies during this Rosetta's case as well. So we'll look into all that and have a good show for you next week as well. But we'll be busy the rest of the week doing stuff with Foul Play. So we'll catch all you guys on that end as well. But I appreciate everybody's comments and contribution. And until next time, peace out.